7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
You'll never have the sacred stone.
Oh, this you crazy mother.
He has a lot of problems.
Struggle to be top 5 in points at the end of the season.
Wow.
You bleach your hair, you're a sellout.
All right, what is up, everybody? Welcome back to the show here. Now, as most of you know, we're about the most unprofessional podcast out here, and I am a complete idiot. So here's what we got going on. We are actually adding another person to the show. We're adding another segment to the show here. We're going to now have, on a pretty regular basis, a former pro rider who has been in and out and amongst the motocross and supercross industry for a lot of years. So we're gonna have a Mr. Eric Grondahl here, as most of you probably have heard of him on the show or heard of him around the motocross industry there. We're going to have him on the show on a pretty regular basis here to kind of break down from someone who is actually a professional rider and not just some fat old guy in his garage in Michigan, what's going on at the races, and give his thoughts and opinions on some of the different topics that we like to cover on this show. So, without any further ado here, because I forgot to do this with the beginning of the show that we recorded last night, and me and him had to record separately here on Monday before I edited the show, brought to you by Alias MX. Pick yours up, link in the description below here, with your motocross gear that they have just relaunched, which I need to get some, by the way. It is Mr. Eric Grondahl. Hey, bud.
How's it going?
Dude,
Thanks for having me.
Dude, it's fantastic. Thank you for doing this. Really appreciate it. I know you don't like the terminology, but you're going to be our JT of this show.
I got no problem with JT. Let's do it up.
Well, I mean, please, just,
he gave me a shout out on Pulp.
Did he really?
I guess. That's what I heard. I still haven't heard it, but I guess he said I'm a big cycling guy now, which is very true.
Huh. I didn't even hear. I guess I didn't pay attention to that. Maybe that was last week or something. Gosh, I don't remember. Huh.
Yeah, I think it was a few weeks ago.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, I don't remember that, but I do listen to that because, love him or hate him or anybody who is involved in that show, it is there's a lot of information that comes from that area over there. So
definitely.
Considering I'm a man of information here and the freelance news of the motocross industry, I gotta keep up with that kind of stuff. So anyway, man, thank you for taking the time. Thank you for agreeing to do this. I thought, with our show growing and everything, as much fun as it is to hear us fat old guys in our garage in Michigan talk about this stuff and say things about these athletes that we would never be able to do, and we're like, man, they're doing it wrong, idiots. I thought it would be great to get somebody on who, on a regular basis, who has some pro riding experience, has rode with these guys, has at least the speed to be in the same realm as these guys. So thanks for doing this, man. I really appreciate it.
No problem. I'm happy to be a part of it. I've always loved the sport, so I'm always happy to talk about dirt bikes.
Well, I know when you were on a couple weeks ago, what brought this to mind is I was wildly impressed with how closely you actually follow the sport, because some of the guys in the industry, which I would say you're pretty much in the industry still, or around it, or who have ridden, they don't really follow these. They're not fans of the sport per se. So I'm
a huge fan of the sport.
Yeah. When you were running,
I watch MXGP. I watch motocross, supercross, all of it.
Can we talk about? Did you see the clip? Who was the guy at the MXGP race? I think he was the 250 guy.
Wolf.
That pushed the guy off?
Oh my God, that was insane.
Dude, how does your brain even process that? I can't even, dude, I would literally, as soon as I was that close where I could touch him, I would have shit my pants. There would be a brown streak.
I would have just been like, well, this is going to hurt really bad. and he's like, nope, not today.
You stay in your lane, sir. Oh my God, I watched that thing 10 times and just went, I don't understand. This boggles the mind to even process that. So, okay, so let's talk some MXGP here then, I guess, because I didn't talk about that on the show.
Okay, I didn't watch this weekend, but
have you seen the highlights? Okay, well, we don't even need to go that
seen
far.
The highlights. I kind of know the results, though. I know Prado and Lucas Kunin both went 1-1.
Yes, okay.
So it seems like a pretty dominant weekend for the both of them.
I guess I'll be pretty general here. What are the chances you think Herlings could win this title here? He's like 39-ish down, I want to say, at this point. You think he's going to be able to get up there and run with those boys enough to really throw his hat in the ring, or is he just going to be a semi-distant third place after Timmy G and Prado?
No, I think he's still got a shot at it. There's enough races left. Enough stuff can happen, and he's already shown in the last few races that he's got his mojo back. Lommel, he was phenomenal. I was mind blown watching him come from. He fell at 17 seconds behind Prado and just caught him. In like 6 minutes, 8 minutes?
Yeah,
it
something
was
like that.
He was putting like 5 seconds a lap into him.
Yeah. He is. His sand skills are still absolutely unbelievable.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
unbelievable.
they're unmatched for sure.
Staying on the MXGP realm there, what do you think? Thoughts on the Ducati debut with Tony Caroli here this coming weekend?
I'm excited for that. I'm very excited for that. I think the Ducati bike looks friggin' awesome, and Tony's obviously will forever be a legend in moto. And it'll be cool to kind of see where he stacks up now after 2 years out of it.
Yeah, I think so. I think it's 2. Yeah, I think he retired end of 22. So he's been off last year, now this year. Yeah, I'm super interested because they've been having some success with those European races they've been doing there. So to see him toss in, it's one of those things too. It's like, oh man, he hasn't raced essentially in a couple years outside of the local Italian races there.
Right.
So it's like you got to kind of factor that in. But then at the same time, I look at it as like, man, I think everybody kind of counts it out because new bike, he's been off. But man, if he comes out and puts that thing on the box here, I mean, that's a win.
What track is it this weekend?
You're gonna ask me, and I don't know GP tracks for shit. So, they said the name, but yeah, I don't even know. So,
it's not Turkey, is it?
I don't think so. Let me see.
Cole, can you look up MXGP? Okay, Cole's looking it up right now.
All right, all right, my man in the corner over there. Love it, love it. Oh man,
what's that? Oh, Arnhem, Netherlands.
Yes,
that's gonna be a good one.
Yes, that's a sand track too, isn't it?
I'll go predict Herlings 1-1.
Okay, well that's not very far fetched there. Come on.
Yeah, I know.
Herlings 1-1, Cairoli 2-2, old school.
No, I don't think a 2-2. A sand Caroli is awesome in the sand, so he has that working in his favor. But 35 minutes in the sand when you haven't really been racing a whole lot it's a lot. So
yeah.
We'll see. I wouldn't be surprised though. If he went like 3-3, I wouldn't be surprised.
I was just say if he puts it on the box in the first moto, even if he shits the bed completely in the second moto, that's a that's a win. That is 100% a win there. So yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Nah, I like that. I like the odds of it a lot though because that guy is such a legend. He's in shape, like he's been riding. So
yeah.
So we'll see. All right, let's get back stateside here. So Unadilla this week. Now you've rode Unadilla, I assume, since you're East Coast there.
I tried to race this weekend.
Okay,
it didn't go so well.
oh, that's right. You did say you were going to try to race it. Shoot, I forgot.
Yep.
Okay, so how'd that go? Let's start there then. How'd that go for you?
Not good. Track was Unadilla for sure. It was very very deep, very ruddy, very high speed. They made a couple changes to the layout.
Okay.
Which I and a few other guys that I talked to are not a fan of. They've some of the higher speed sections that were kind of like turning, they now made them into straightaways, so it just goes dead straight, so now you're going even faster.
Sick.
Like, for example, spot Hymas crashed.
Yeah.
I crashed there in the LCQ on the last lap. I was in 7th. There was a train of us. It was like 2nd through 8th. We're all like boom, boom, boom.
Okay.
And going down, I didn't go down as hard as Hymas because I wasn't going that fast, but I was still going pretty damn good. And I just got off balance coming into those ruts and cross-rutted and just kind of went for a ride and rung my bell pretty good.
Jeez.
Thankfully, that was all it is. My neck's a little stiff today and my shoulder, but other than that, I'm fine. But yeah, that's pretty much how that weekend went. The track was way too. I was just like, I do this for fun now. And during the second practice, with how gnarly the track was, I was just like, why am I doing this? Like, why did I sign up? I was like, I'm ready to go home. Like, this is way too much for me nowadays. So, but I went out there in the LCQ and I was like, just try and get a good start and, see what I can do. And I was happy that I did still go down for the LCQ. I got a decent start, made a couple mistakes, went back to like 10th or 11th within the first few turns, and then made my way back into 7th and was battling with some fast dudes, and there was definitely quite a few dudes that didn't qualify for the motos that I was like, wow, this was not an easy race regardless of the track conditions.
Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about that Hymas crash there.
That was scary.
That was gnarly. Have you seen? I've been getting texts and everything from all sorts of fans about like the way they picked the bike up off him and letting him go back out there and stuff, and like, okay, the letting him go back out there. I haven't really seen how they picked the bike up off him. That might have been sketchy.
I haven't seen that either. Yeah.
I'll tell you what, watching that crash a few times, and the fact that they let him get back on that bike and ride just makes me
was wild.
Shake my head and go, what are we doing here? Because that was not one of those crashes that like you're like, yep, he's okay. He just knocked the wind out of himself. Like, no, he smacked that ground hard. That bike smacked. If you watch, that bike hit him in the head hard.
Big time.
So
that was my lucky thing when I crashed, is I was able to get away from my bike.
Yeah, I don't know. That was.
But yeah, he did not get that lucky.
No, that was terrible. That was absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I'm glad for what it was that he's at least somewhat okay.
Kind of ish.
Yeah.
We'll go with kind of ish. So
yeah.
So Hunter comes out on that new 450 there and wins there. I mean, what from a pro rider perspective, what goes through your brain thinking about trying to process that and handle that in a weekend there of like, hey, we got a brand new bike.
Obviously, that bike's pretty damn good if he was able to do that. I will say, I wasn't out there for the motos, so people are probably going to talk crap, but from watching, and at least the areas I was watching in, the track was so gnarly with the ruts that it really didn't look like it got that rough, per se.
Okay.
Like, it didn't look like it got super gnarly big braking bumps and like all this stuff. It just looked like chattery and just enormous, huge, deep ruts that were sketchy.
Okay.
So I think, and not taking away anything from Hunter or the bike, but I think that definitely helps, when the bike doesn't have to, it's kind of all the same throughout the track, whereas like some tracks you'll get huge braking bumps in one spot and then small chattery bumps in another spot and then like sand sections and stuff like that, where Unadilla is kind of one consistent thing all the way around. So obviously that bike is dialed. Geyser has proven over in Europe that it's a really good bike. I don't doubt for a second that thing is better than last year's Honda. And Hunter rode immaculate. Like, that was pretty much a perfect moto. It doesn't get much better than that.
No,
he was able to fend off Chase. Chase was right there within, a half a second to 2 seconds the whole moto. And I kind of expected, because Hunter really hasn't been able to go the pace for 35 minutes all year. And that first moto he was. So I was like, I kind of expected Chase to get him. And then it didn't happen.
Yeah.
And I was talking to Chase after the second moto, and he was like, he's like, Hunter was just absolutely sending it that first moto. And he's like, and I just didn't want to go over that edge. So he's like, that was what it was. He rode great and couldn't get him.
I was super surprised, because I thought when Chase did get by him, I was like, oh, here we go. Typical, like, has that.
Wait, did Chase pass him?
Chase passed him.
No way.
Oh, yeah. The first moto, Chase passed him.
So where I was at, I couldn't see. I could only see like 3 spots on the track. So
okay.
I must have missed when he got around him then.
Yep. Nope. He passed him, and don't ask me where, because I can't. I was on a camping trip, so I literally had like my camping TV, which is a 24-inch TV.
Oh yeah.
watching while talking to the other dads that were there camping. But but he did get by him, and I thought, oh, okay, race is over. Like, Chase is just gonna go and check out, and then, like, I don't know, maybe it was 2-3 corners later, like, Hunter got back by him, and I was like, oh wow, oh, okay, all right, we got a battle, sick. So so that was super surprising.
That was a great moto from both of them.
Yeah, it was. So
it was fun to watch, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then that second moto, that start by Chase, and then those first couple laps, bro,
that was insane. He had 6 seconds at the end of the first lap.
I know.
Who does that?
Ken Roczen.
Yeah.
That was a very Ken Roczen first lap there of, like, wait.
It was insane. It was like the first 3 laps, and he had 10, 12, 13 seconds on him within like 3 laps.
Yeah. That was I was mind blown by that. Just like,
and then
where'd he go?
Kind of put it on cruise control from there.
Yeah. So, and speaking of Kenny, what do you think of Kenny's comeback this weekend?
Second moto was better.
Yeah.
The first moto, I was kind of like waiting for him to get going.
Mm-hmm.
And then he just kind of, it didn't look like he was riding bad. I think that class is just so stacked right now.
Yeah.
So, it's obviously he hasn't raced in a while. So that's always difficult. I would say, just based off his previous Unadilla results, I kind of thought he could podium, kind of no problem.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously that second moto, it looked like the, race fitness just wasn't there to go the whole distance, because I think he was the third fastest guy, because I think Plessinger actually put in the second fastest lap, who was shredding through the pack, by the way. That was insane to watch.
Oh, yes.
And, but yeah, Kenny, he was riding great, and I kind of thought that he would, he'd be second.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then it just looked like he just got tired towards the end, and those guys just got by him, which, can't blame him. Like, he hasn't been out there with these guys, and it's tough to just kind of jump in at the end of the season and do 35 minutes all out.
Yeah, I had some higher expectations coming in just because of his High Point performance last year. Last year he jumped.
That's kind of what I thought. I thought, High Point went well last year when he jumped in, but that was also a shorter time frame between racing for him. So,
yeah, and he wasn't coming off an injury.
Exactly, and the race fitness was still all there. So definitely different. I don't know. Is he racing Buds?
He's not racing Buds, and then Ironman, he's on the 250. Yeah. So, what do you think he does there?
I don't know why he's doing it.
Nobody does.
Just for the hell of it.
This is a very Ken Roczen thing to do.
I dropped down to a 250 this year, and it's because it's fun. Like, riding a 450 is not fun.
Yes, 100%.
So I'd assume that's what he's doing it for. I saw people saying on Twitter that he was doing it because he was going to do MX2 for Team Germany at the Nations. But then they just released their team, and he's not. He's doing the open class or MXGP. So I'm like, okay, well, that doesn't make sense. So yeah, I guess he's just doing it for the hell of it. So good for him. I'm very curious. Obviously, the 250 is you have to ride it harder, but it doesn't beat you up as much. So I think he'll be able to go the distance on that thing. I would say 5.5.
Okay.
And I don't know, because at some point you do need, the bike does come into play on a 250.
Yes.
Especially at that level.
Yes.
And I just don't know that Suzuki can run with Star, Pro Circuit,
No.
KTM, so I'm thinking 5.5 sounds like a good day for him.
Yeah. Yeah, I just don't think he has anything for Deegan, so
No, and I mean Deegan is smaller than him and has been solely focused on a 250, and I mean he's been, outside of this weekend, he's been pretty hard to beat this year.
Yeah.
Not
Now
that he wasn't hard to beat this weekend, but you get what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying.
Okay, so I got a conspiracy theory going here with Deegan. When he wraps this title this weekend here,
Yep.
do we see him ride a 450 at Ironman?
I don't think so. I think it's still too early in his career.
So
I could be wrong.
okay, so here's what I've been hearing, and it's not anything of like he's riding a 450 at Ironman. Okay, I've completely made this up in my own head, and I'm hoping that it just gets enough traction through the grapevine here that they're like, you know what, this is a good idea. So here's the thing. I've heard that they were very, very deep in talks to try to go 450 next year on the assumption he was going to win the 250 Supercross title this year. So I've heard that that's been like a very big thing. I've also heard that Kawasaki is trying to write a very big check to take him to 450s for 26 because Ando's contract's done. So I've heard they're trying to write a very, very big check. Now here's the other part of this conspiracy theory here. So Kenny's coming in to ride the 250, right? And we all don't think that Suzuki can really compete with the Pro Circuit and the Star bikes. But let's just say, in a hypothetical world here, that Kenny comes out and does Ken Roxon things and qualifies fastest, yanks a start on that thing, lays down 5 heater laps at the beginning that are 3 seconds a lap faster than everybody, and beats him. Total losing situation for Deegan. Holy crap, this old guy on a 20-year-old bike came in and beat you. But how do you counteract that? Well, you already got the title won. We don't really need to race. What if we just went and did the 450s? We could break the internet because we're racing this class. And to be honest, I think if you put that kid on a 450 right now, I think there's a high probability he could podium. At least a moto, if not the overall, in this field.
Dude.
High probability.
Oh.
And then instead of a possible negative publicity there because you get beat by some guy who's at the end of his career on a 20-year-old bike, now all of a sudden it's like, oh, we came in and we did the 450s, and you could spin it in one of two ways. If it doesn't go well, look, we're just learning, we're prepping for the future, just like all of this crap we're doing with training with everybody. But if it goes well, the only person we haven't beat's Jet. We're coming for Jet.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean, the Deegan media machine runs deep, bro.
I don't. If you put him on a 250 in the 450 class, I say okay, maybe he could podium. But a 450, dude, he's got that 450 is not something outside of Jet. You do not just hop on that 450 and go straight to winning.
I'm sure he's riding a 450 during the week.
It's such a big bike. Yeah, but even during the week, dude, the tracks are not comparable. It doesn't matter what you do at those facilities. You will never, ever get it to replicate a race day. Look,
all I'm saying is if he shows up on a 450 at Ironman, I'm breaking my keyboard over my lap. I'm getting on a YouTube live, and I'm just going to be like, I called this. I called it.
Yeah.
Y'all can suck
Yep.
it because I called it. So, all right, one more thing before we let you go here. Eli Tomac comes back next week for Buds here.
Hell yeah.
Where do you think he slots in here?
I have no idea because it's Eli Tomac.
This is true. So
He could go 1-1 or he could go 6-6.
this is also very true.
I don't know. I'm leaning more towards like a 4th to 6th place
Yes.
just because, he hasn't really raced a whole lot this year.
Yep.
He made it a good way through Supercross. But, yeah, I don't know. I'd love to see him do good. I'm a Tomac fan. I like him. He's one of the fastest motocross racers of all time. But yeah, I don't know if those days are behind him or ahead of him still. I'd love to think that he can still run the pace that he was running in 2022.
Yep.
With him and Sexton. So we'll see. I think, he'll have 2 races this year and then the SMX, and then, hopefully he can stay healthy and go through next year.
Do you like the sorry, one more thing here. Do you like
No, you're
these
good.
do you like these the SMX races and the fact that like it brings these guys back at the end of the year?
No.
Okay. Cuz like I like it cuz like
Being
otherwise
totally honest, well, as a fan, yes, but when I think about it for them,
yeah.
that fucking sucks.
Oh, don't get me wrong. I hate the fact
Like-
that we're doing 31 races here,
Dude,
but
it's so much.
Yeah.
And these dudes, they race all year long, 31 weekends out of the year, and they spend 2 months before the season prepping for the season.
yes.
It's like, dude, when do they get time off?
Yep. Yes.
I think last year, Chase took a 4-day vacation and then was right back to friggin' testing and training. And I'm just like, dude, these guys need a break.
Yeah. No, I'm with you.
And-
I'm with you. I hate it for the riders themselves, but I like that Webb came back this weekend. Obviously, Roxon comes back here to get warmed back up for the SMX, because otherwise, it's like we've all talked about, we wouldn't see these guys until Anaheim 1. They got hurt, they're out because nobody likes racing outdoors, and we just wouldn't see anybody. So, so it does make it interesting, gives us stuff to talk about, for our end and for the fans' end. But I'm with you, for the actual guys themselves, I do feel bad because I know how much of a grind this is. So,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, it is brutal. I've never done a full-blown all-year season like that, but I can only imagine. I did a majority of the rounds a few times, and it was just this is a lot.
I don't even go to that many races, and I just commentate on them, and it's a lot. So I sit behind a camera all day, and it's a lot to do this. So, all right, man. Well, thank you for coming on here. Really, like I said,
Thank you for having me.
really appreciate it. Make sure to go check out Alias MX. Again, I'll link that up in the description down below to check out some of their new gear there. Pick yourself up a set, and we're good for next week too for Buds at some point,
Yes, sir.
Sunday or Monday. All right, cool, man. Awesome. Then we will talk to you next week. Appreciate it, buddy. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good one.
Yep. Yo, what is up, everyone? Welcome back to the Moto Aftermath Show. This is episode number 280. This is our Unadilla wrap-up show. For anybody who is watching the live stream currently, which, of course, my phone... Oh, wait, there we go. Now we might be seeing something. There we go. Okay, cool, great. Oh, let me adjust that. Hold up. Wait a minute. Well, I got too much of Dan and not enough of me.
Weird.
Yeah,
Are you sure about that?
You gotta, yeah, no, I'm the center of attention here. All right, thanks everybody for tuning in here. I'm your host, Travis. This live stream is a preview for our members area here, which is up and running, and I'm actually gonna add a section here. I've been thinking a lot about this. So we have a section right now for members that is I believe $4.99 is what I put it up as, and that is going to include a live at least a couple of times a month here once we really get going. Essentially is a live Zoom call with me so that we can actually bench race. I am, however, going to put in a is this thing making noise? Stop making noise. I'm actually going to put in a member section for 99 cents that will allow you to watch the show, be recorded live once we get into Supercross season. So we will do some shorter previews here, but for as low as 99 cents per month, you're going to be able to, and I hope YouTube lets me do 99 cents. Maybe it'll be an actual dollar. I don't know. Anyway, but for that low, you'll be able to actually watch the show live on Sunday or Monday whenever we record it here once we get into Supercross 2025. So make sure to go check the members area out. Sign up there. Like I said, if you sign up for the $4.99 a month section, we're going to do at least a couple of live bench racing shows. We're going to call them some Thirsty Thursdays, where I'm going to sit down here, have a drink on a Thursday night for an hour with you guys, and bench race about anything you want. And we don't even have to talk about dirt bikes. So
Awesome.
we can talk politics, we can talk conspiracies, we can talk relationships, we can talk whatever you want. Kids, we can cover it all. So anyway, in studio with me today, we have a full studio, which is awesome here. We don't always get this in the outdoor series. So back with us again for a second appearance this season, actually. We got Mike from Holster Co. here.
Hey.
Hey, bud. Nice to see you.
Good to see you.
And then first time here making a show appearance.
Yep.
We have Dan from Rev X Oil.
How you doing?
Howdy, sir. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
So, let's get down to this nitty-gritty.
The nitty gritty.
How big of a check do you want to write me?
Oh, man.
Let's talk contracts
Cut.
here. No.
Do I want to write you?
Of course you do. Do you see this face? Do you know how much product I move? I've moved at least 2 bags of that stuff.
He's got a face for radio,
because
for sure.
I bought 2 bags. So I've moved at least 2 bags of Coach Rob's stuff there. So it's fine.
I need to get on that train. I keep forgetting.
Yeah. No.
As we had talked before, you had thrown a plan over to me, and I took a look at that. And honestly, looking everything over and everything on the sheet,
You said, man, these guys are fuckheads. Why would I even remotely be involved with them?
were you in my office? No, I'm just kidding.
I put a camera in there when I was visiting.
Right, there you go. No, on that note, I mean, we don't have a problem doing something with you guys at all.
Okay. Yeah,
Because-
we'll talk more about that.
You know, I've watched the shows.
Off the
I've
camera.
seen what you've done, and pretty informative. You're right there. You tell it like it is to the guys, and that's what they need.
As long as you don't want me to as long as you don't try to handcuff me with anything, we're good.
There won't be any handcuffs.
That's perfect then. Then we can definitely work together.
No.
This guy over here doesn't handcuff me at all. It's
Okay.
awesome.
Yeah.
I actually, you know, I really did want to hear any handcuff stories.
No, me neither. Me neither.
All right. So let's jump into this here. So getting started here. Obviously, we talked to co-hosts, so let's talk sponsors here. So show presented by Complete Racing Solutions. And this month, Coach Rob is having us highlight the Express Workouts again, which is for the riders on the go. So people like myself, people like Mike over here who are riding, who want to get workouts in. They're a 30-minute express workout you can put in at any time. They're simple, they're easy. You can do 1 a week, you can do 1 a day, you can do 3 a day. It's kind of up to you if you have time and energy to do that. But make sure to check them out, CompleteRacingSolutions.com, where you can also pick up your energy fuel, because we are still in the end of summer and it is hot when you are riding, and you need to stay not only hydrated, but all the nutrients in you to keep yourself going throughout the day, so make sure to check that out. Also on board with us here, we're in the TLR Coatings studios, so if you guys need any custom powder coating or Cerakoting done with any of your projects, we do shipping in the lower 48 here, so you can send us your stuff and we will coat it for you. I know a lot of you motorcycle guys.
Yes, I can verify.
And Dan,
it's very nice.
Dan can vouch for this, because
I
we've
can
done a
verify
project
that.
with him that we do some dang good coating at points. Sometimes I throw some shit at the wall and it sticks, and it's very
Proper.
proper for
That
me.
YZ
so.
wheel is almost done. About to go
Is it?
on the 144. Yeah.
Good, dude. I'm pumped on that.
It looks
because
awesome.
What we were talking about before the show, which I don't want to put out there yet, because I don't want anybody stealing my idea. It's proprietary technology over
That's
here.
exactly what you got.
Yeah, I actually got time on that, so I know. So that's one of the things I get called a lot about. So So anyway, also on board with us here, we've got Flo Racing. I haven't actually talked to him about how they did at Loretta's there. Have you talked to Scott?
I have actually seen him several times since Loretta's, and I always forget to ask.
I haven't asked either. I should. But usually very prominent at Loretta's in the P-Dub class there. But we have Pro Flo mini moment of the race, as well as Pro Flo Racing going to be bringing you our 250 race recap. We have Gutter Worx, Josh and Kayla on board for our 450 race recap there. So if you need any exterior modifications done to your house, make sure to check them out. I actually got text her because I gotta see when I'm on the schedule to get my stuff done at my house here. That's gotta be a thing. That's gotta, yeah, man. Well, the schedule got shuffled around a little bit, and I have just not hit her back and been like, "Hey, so when did we get back on that schedule?" But that's
they
that's
are
a me
absolutely
thing.
slammed.
That is
It's awesome.
exactly what I figured. So I mean, the house isn't falling down.
Right.
My gutters haven't fallen off yet. If it does, though, we're gonna get some freebies because I got bumped.
Josh, are you listening?
Josh, Kayla, pay attention. I'm a tough negotiator. And then we'll have Holster Co. Reload Rant, which I'm not even sure what kind of rant I got today, but I'm sure I'll come up with something here as we go. And Isaac Nelson Design is going to bring us our Diggin' Danger Zone here. So, thanks everybody who is watching here on the live stream there. Oh, tuning in from vacation. I just got back off a little mini vacation here. We're camping with the family. The chick and the kid are still there for the next several days. So I got to go pick them up on Thursday, actually, because we don't just camp, we glamp. Which means I took 2 truckloads of shit to tent camp at a camping resort.
Nice.
And then I still went to Walmart twice. And I had to come back yesterday for a personal thing and pick up a few things that we also forgot. One of which I had to pick up was actually my Wi-Fi from my house, my Starlink setup, because the Wi-Fi there this year was not working properly, so it was not allowing my TV to hook up so I could stream the race yesterday.
So what was that like, being out there camping without Wi-Fi?
Well, so let me tell you this
probably hated it.
campsite. Well, the Wi-Fi, I did finally get it hooked up to my phone, but it just wouldn't connect. So last year, okay, I'm there, and I'm like, shoot, I got to watch this race. So I literally went to Walmart, and God spoke to me, and there was an open box 24-inch TV with all the built-in apps already, so I could get my Peacock for $80.
Holy.
And I was just like, God's speaking to me. Like, I don't even have to spend more than that. So I bought that sucker and brought it back, and me and a few of the dads sat there all day and watched motocross racing, right?
Nice.
And then this year, obviously, it was going to happen again because there was a race this weekend. I didn't have time today to watch it after I came back, so I took it. I hooked it up Friday night there, and I was like, oh, man, this Wi-Fi was a pain on my phone. And guess what? Just would not work on this TV. So when I came back, I've got the RV Starlink. It's very simple. Couple of plugs, wrap the wires up, take it with you, set it up. Worked perfect. Watched the race yesterday, no problem.
No, what would we call that? Would we call that productive camping?
Yeah.
It was great.
Like he said, glamping. It's glamorous camping.
Glamorous camping. Wi-Fi,
Yeah.
2 easy ups, big tent, air mattress, whole 9 yards.
Outdoor racing.
Watching outdoor
Love
racing
it.
outdoors
Even better.
in my recliner chair with my beverage in my hand. It was a great time.
That's awesome.
Me and the dads had a
I
great
haven't
time.
found a campsite anywhere we've ever camped that had decent Wi-Fi. Ever. Not once.
The stuff last year was awesome, and like I literally streamed on that TV off their Wi-Fi. It was killer, absolutely killer. And this year, it took like forever to get it on the phone. Like Ashley had to send me a thing to join twice to even get it, because every time I was punching it in, it just wouldn't do anything. It would just say can't connect. So, like I said, I finally got the phone connected, and that was cool, and that was working fine. But man, the TV just wasn't having it. So anyway, so long story long there. That was my vacation for a few days here of camping out. At 2:00 in the morning last night, I was cooking burgers on the Blackstone because I was hungry again.
Right on.
Nice.
Sounds like fun.
It was a great time. And man, we went down. There was like 4 of us sitting there just hanging out. We went down some deep conspiracy rabbit holes last night. Some deep conspiracy. I like the couple of guys that were sitting there with me and Ashley. I was like, all right, dealer's choice. What do you guys want to talk about? And we went down some stuff that I cannot even mention here because it's YouTube. Like,
Could be a dangerous rabbit.
Yeah.
hole.
They'll shut you down real fast.
I went dangerous last night. I got a few bevies in me, and we were rocking
It
and
all
rolling.
came out, didn't it?
Oh man, I have so much information in this head about stuff. It's ridiculous. So
I'm a little jealous I wasn't there.
Oh, man, it was good. We'll talk about it on the break, man, because we'll take a break here after, because we're going to live stream through the 450 race recap here, and then we're going to stop and we'll shut that down or whatever, and then we'll do a second part with the rest of the stuff. So, all right, so let's jump into this here. 450 race recap, brought to you by our friends at Gutter Worx. Always well hung, just like who?
Justin Barsha.
Who we may see back at some point. You ever seen Justin Barsha's unit? You can see it when he wears his pants.
Oh.
And I mean,
look there.
It's
what was I thinking?
There's pictures. Don't worry. Just go on some websites and search Justin Barsha unit. You will find it. You will find it. Hammer. His poor wife.
We have a pair of his pants, and they legitimately are size 26 waist.
Are they blown out?
No, they're brand new. He went and
okay.
pulled. I think I might have told this story last time, but he.
It looks
he
like
went
a paper
into his
towel
camper
tube, like
at the end of.
it was in there. You know, it's crazy.
Yeah. No, he went in his camper and grabbed a brand new set out for my kid. They have the Nikki Hayden butt patch. And,
Really?
Yeah, it was super cool. But
That
they're
is pretty
legitimately like my son, my 13-year-old would probably fit in them.
Sweet.
He's not a big dude, but
Motocross
He's not a
race.
big dude.
They're like jockeys, tiny
Yeah.
people.
I've seen him next to my brother. He's not that big of a dude.
no, he's super cool though.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very, very cool.
Yeah.
I was having this conversation with one of the dads yesterday who is just getting into motocross. He's like, so how many of these guys do you like actually know or whatever? And I told him, like, I'm not a good fangirl, so going up and talking to them, it's like I got to spend a few minutes explaining who I am. Most of them would have an idea at least of who I am, but I still feel like I'm fangirling, so I'm like, mostly I don't talk to a lot of them. I'm like, the ones I've had interactions with, everybody's been pretty cool. Like, there hasn't really been anybody that I've had a real negative reaction with, I'll say.
Nice.
There's a few that's like you could tell it was end of the day and they didn't really want to talk to you much. But outside of that, everybody's been pretty all right. So, you got anybody you want to blow out on the show? Because you've been to California and dealt with people.
Yeah.
As long as I've been dealing with motocross from the 80s up to now, I can tell you on one hand, there are probably only a few guys out there that were flat out weenies.
Let's blow them out. Drop
That
names.
you already know about them. I mean, the big guys back in the day. Tried like McGrath. You talk to that guy, he would take time out of his schedule, no matter what, to sign an autograph or something like that.
Yep.
Back in the day, I mean, there were guys that were like, "Get away from me, you know, leave me alone." And this is, you know, their downtime.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's very few guys out there nowadays. I mean, honestly, all the guys that are out there are pretty easy to deal with.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's just kind of a changed world with that, as far as pro racers go.
Hunter's super cool as long as you don't tell him how good his brother is. He's not a big
Come on,
fan of
let's
that.
think about this. Let's think about this, okay?
But as soon as I started talking to him about trucks, then he was fine.
Right, but he has openly admitted that he can beat his brother at just about anything except dirt bikes. Now, you know that has to just irritate the guy.
So we had a joke a few years ago on the show of like, man, Hunter's brother is a pretty good fucking rider, right? and we just ran the joke. Well, I just happened to, at the Red Bud Moto Combine, because they were watching, I think Hymus was riding that year, I just happened to be walking next to him all of a sudden. Like, I don't know where he came from. Dude was like a fucking ghost. Next thing, he's there and just like 3 steps ahead. And I'm like, man, first off, Cooper Webb, hard as morning wood, because my man Jet's right there. And then I'm just like, oh, Hunter, let's have a joke fest here. So I tell him, I'm like, bro, Hunter Lawrence, what's up, man? And I'm just like, yeah, so your brother, we have a joke. And we're just like, man, Hunter's brother's a really good fucking rider.
Yeah.
He was not a fan of that. There was no funny about it. There was nothing. And I was like, ooh, okay,
Nothing?
that didn't go well. So then, like, of course, we're all going the same way, right? Because we're walking out of the pits
That was
to
probably
go.
not a good lead.
It wasn't a good lead. I learned that lesson. Wasn't a good lead. But it was fine. I recovered from it. So then I said, hey, man, did you get another square body? Because he's really into square body Chevs.
Really?
Yeah. And he was like, no, he's like, I sold my last one and I want to get another one, but I just haven't yet. And he was just rattling off stuff. And I'm like, all right, that's sweet. Because I actually talked to Myrtle at one point, maybe it was like 3 years ago at Red Bud. And I gave him a card with my number and stuff, but obviously, you know, I'm nobody. But I talked to him about like, hey, man, I'd love to have the boys on the show at some point, not to talk moto. Let's talk cars. Let's talk, because like,
That'd be awesome.
I have tons of questions for Jet, like that Audi R8 you got. Is it twin turboed? Who did the twin turbo on it? Because I think it is. You know, and obviously they have the Ferraris and the Porsches and all that kind of stuff. And like I said, Hunter's really into Chevys. He has a regular cab, short box, or at least he did, during Supercross, Chevy like a 08 range, like that body style.
One, okay.
Yeah. So he's got one of those for sure. And I know he had like the Mercedes GTR. His wife had a G wagon.
So what you're saying is he's got some class.
They're both into cars, and I
okay.
pitched it to Mertz of like, hey, like I'd love to have him on for a short period, and like we'll just talk cars. I won't ask one moto question. Let's just talk cars. And he was like, yeah, sure. You know, like send me an email, which I did, and of course he didn't answer. I don't hold any grudges, whatever.
Oh,
I can get.
what the?
I have our West Coast contributor actually has Mert's personal phone number, so like I could get it at any point and text him and be like, hey man, but I'm real weird about that too, of like if I don't specifically get it from somebody.
Kind of like a creeper, isn't it?
A little bit, but I also have some other friends that were pretty high in the industry for a while, like they own teams and stuff, and they send me guys' phone numbers all the time, and they're like, you gotta call this guy, talk to him, you know, track owners, stuff like that, and I'm like, okay, but man, it's such a weird kind of intro to me that I just haven't,
like
I don't
a
do
cold
it.
call.
Yeah, it is, and I'm not super great with those.
Speaking of Isaac, that dude's famous. Like, have you looked at any of his Instagram posts? Like, literally, look at all the likes. Just open them up and look at the likes. It's half of the top pro riders are following him and liking his stuff.
Well, I told you.
And he's super cool.
Well, that's why I told you, like, guys like Jason Anderson. Like, Anderson 100% knows who we are, because Isaac was taking videos, sending them to us, and then we were posting them, because that's our deal, is, like, he's been a fan since we started, basically. But he lives in California, right by all the test tracks and stuff. So he'll go and he'll take videos, he'll send them to me. So I would take his videos, I'd post them, I'd tag him in them. That's my rule. And then I would also tag, you know, whoever was in it, like Ando. Well, I had a whole bunch because Ando was at the track one day. And at one point, he sends me a screenshot of Ando DMing him, being like, are these guys just ripping off your shit? And he was like, no, dude, like, they're cool. I work with them. And he's like, okay, cool, man. Cool. So, so, and actually, I'm getting closer to Jason. Like, that's one that is like, man, that would be really cool to pull, because, like, you know, like, Pulp can't pull it, and, like, he doesn't do a ton of interviews. But, like, I'm acquaintances with his trainer now. I ended up being on a podcast with him, and then met him at Redbud at the end of the day, and we talked for a little bit. And then obviously Isaac kind of knows him from the test track, or they know who each other are or whatever. And after listening to Ando on Gypsy Tales, I'm pretty sure that he watches a lot of us that are out there, because he is very into it. He openly was admitting that, like, yeah, man, I'm on YouTube all the time watching this stuff. So I'm pretty sure that if I went up to him, he would be like, yeah, you've got some dumb talk show, don't you? I'd be like, yes, I do, sir. yes, I do. Can we get an interview? Can we get 5 minutes? 5 minutes. Give me 5. So
it's amazing to me how many of those guys actually do watch all the shows.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't matter where you go. I mean, you stop in at a track, talk to the guys there, just the locals and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It is amazing how many of those guys just tune into all of the shows out there.
Then you got Eli Tomac, who doesn't do nothing.
He'll pop up once every 2 years with
Every
a Twitter
3 years,
comment.
he pops up on Twitter just to dunk on Osborne and then leave. That's it. You're a fucking idiot. Boom, he's out. God, that guy's awesome. So, all right, we should probably talk 450s here since we're live streaming this. Thanks for y'all who are watching there and dealing with us on the live stream. All right, 450 race recap, like I said, brought to you by our friends at Gutter Worx. So, Sexton goes 2-1 for first overall. Anybody want to know the secret to his starts yesterday? Phil Nicoletti. Filthy.
Did he use Phil for traction?
He used Phil for traction. No, he actually went to Phil and said, how do you get these starts?
And
Phil told him what he did and how they tuned the bike and stuff for it. He went back to KTM with that info. They did a few things.
Really?
And bingo. How about that second moto, though? That start and then just gone.
So, what does he do for training anyway?
Sexton?
I mean, where can you go and get training to actually run that hard all moto long?
We're not going to talk about it.
Don't
ask me to talk about it.
He's the most fit guy out there.
He is the most fit guy out there right now. I'm not going to say some other things I want to say, which we all know what it is, but we're trying to be more positive podcast over here now. But
sorry, it was my idea.
Yeah, but he is the most fit guy out there. Dude, I mean, like, everything else aside that I won't talk about right this second because we just don't need to go into that. it doesn't change putting in the work to be in that athletic of shape. He's built like a brick shithouse, especially as far as riders go.
Yep.
He's got just cardio for days.
Yep. And I think he finally found out how to smooth out after he's out there.
You know, I made a comment last year when him and Jet were racing.
Yep.
I said, man, you know, the year before, because 22, it was Tomac and Chase, right? And we were like, oh, Chase is so smooth. Then you watched him ride against Jet, and you're like, man, he is just bulldogging that thing. Yep. And now we're back to, oh, he's smooth. But it's like, is he, though? Because
it always appeared like he would run it, and he would be sprinting, and then all of a sudden the front end would wash.
Yep.
Every time the front end would wash because he was pushing it so hard, and he'd get into like a hard pack or something, or even the loam, and it would just wash out. There's the end of his race. But now he's actually, I don't know, what's the word, matured?
Yeah. So is it the bike or is it him?
It's the technique. Oh, as far as
that's
washing?
Changed. That
probably both.
I'd say, yeah, I'd agree with you. I'd say it's probably both.
Okay.
Because anybody can get a good bike to wash the front end.
Yeah.
I mean,
turn this up
I could get a good bike to high side me to the moon.
Yeah.
And, I mean, it would be embarrassing. But
maybe just put that a little closer to your mouth just so we can...
Right there, about, like, right there.
Yeah.
Right.
Just so we can do it, because you talk a little bit quieter than I do, so let's just make sure. I'm sure we can hear you,
better?
But let's just make sure. Yes.
All right. But, yeah, so, I mean, I'm... out of everybody there were a few guys that I saw that I was really impressed with the way they rode this weekend. And Chase, how can you say... The guy's quickly turning into a master on the outdoor stuff. He's always been good.
Yeah.
But for him to turn it up like that, what was he, 15 seconds out at one point?
I mean, he was 6 seconds
11,
the first lap.
Yeah.
Like, that first lap, they came around, and it's like, I mean, Stu said on the broadcast, if you weren't watching close, you thought your TV glitched, and he crashed and was just out.
Yeah.
So.
But watch him coming out of every turn.
Yeah.
And, I mean, from... the entry, you can see where he's off. You get a quarter way into the turn, and all of a sudden you see that bike is just blowing a roost out of the back end of it. And to handle one of those, I'm sure it's down on power.
Yeah.
No.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
What's
I've
up?
asked basically everybody who's done the show with me since the Hangtown race. If Jet doesn't crash at Hangtown, does Chase's season look the same as it does right now?
Here's what I'm going to say. All right, pure and simple. Jet, let's take a look at him. He's a kid, right?
Yep.
He's not that old. He can push it. He is a very smooth rider.
Yep.
However, he can ride, a little bit over his head. Things will happen. But I will say this. There have been so many before him that have been absolutely awesome for a short period of time. And then it goes out.
So you think he's going to taper off here?
I think he could possibly taper off.
I think he's coming back stronger than he was. I think this was exactly what he needed, because there was so much pressure building to be perfect because of winning the 250 titles, winning the 450 titles, the perfect season. That pressure was just getting insane. He needed something like this to release that pressure, which is what's happened, and now he can come back, and that pressure will never be that way again, because now it's just, hey man, you're like the best rider in the world essentially on a dirt bike, and as far as well-rounded for supercross, motocross, whatever. So now he just has to go do what he knows how to do, which is ride. So because the pressure finally released. That's what it was the pressure released. He won't win this title. He'll come back for SMX. He'll probably win that. I'd be highly surprised if he doesn't.
I think there's only one guy that could say outside, well, not outside of the circle, because it's his brother.
Yeah.
All right. Not even trainers will understand, what's inside the head. Because when you crash and you do so, honestly, okay, so he was at the test track and something happened. It was stupid, things happen.
Yep.
You know that. All of a sudden, bam, I'm out. Okay, well, it's been a while now. He's been doing some other things. Is he thinking about other stuff? I'm pretty sure he's thinking about his dirt bike. We know that. He's got a contract with Honda, and Honda is behind him 100%.
Yeah.
So with that being said, it's... I've seen young guys where they've gone out, they've hurt themselves, they've come back, and they were the shit before they went out, and all of a sudden they came back, and there was just something, different.
Mm-hmm.
But it gave the other guys enough time to excel, so that now these guys have to catch back up.
I still think with Sexton, there's a mental block. He hasn't really beat Jet yet. Like, really,
Right.
especially outdoors.
Yep, that's true.
He hasn't beat him there. He hasn't beat him. Well, I guess he technically beat him in SMX there in that first round last year. But I have to say, if you go with an overall look at it here, Sexton doesn't have his number yet. Maybe he does. Maybe this is giving him that little more jumping off point, but I got to see it.
Well, and I agree with you on that. Now, one of the things about Jet and Sexton, and even Hunter, we're going to throw Hunter in the mix there too, because there's the three of them.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Now, we have seen when Jet and Hunter are on the track, and you can tell that there is a brotherly competition in there.
A little bit, yes, but I
And
do
sure.
think Hunter has accepted his role as support team. I think
don't think Hunter
he's
will ever accept
advantageous,
that.
but I think he's accepted that role.
I mean, he beat Chase straight up, and I think if Jet was still here, I don't think there's a 7 moto win streak. I think that
I agree too.
no.
is minimized. They might be swapping between the three of them,
Yes.
but
So
no
I'll
win
be
streak.
honest. I think Hunter is better when Jet's here because
Yes.
because Hunter goes, "Oh, I'm just riding with my brother," which we saw
that's-
at like
that's what
say
I'm
for
talking about.
for example,
That's
say
what I'm
High
talking
Point, like he got towed with Jet there and then they were 20 something seconds faster than
he's
Sexton.
even said that it's like being at the test track. It's just out there riding with him.
There's a
and
level of
I think Jet is Hunter's rabbit to chase, if you
yes,
will.
yes,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with
But
that.
I think Chase Sexton, I think he is currently in the physical shape that he is in because he has not accepted how good of a rider that Jet is. He doesn't
Yes.
want to believe that he's that good.
Mm-hmm.
And I think he will keep training and pushing himself and pushing himself and pushing himself. Because, I mean, come on, let's be realistic. How far was he out on the Unadilla race here? Man, he hit it and he gapped him.
Yep,
And he didn't stop gapping him.
yep.
That was wild.
We'll see. We'll
That
see.
was very interesting.
Yeah, he's looked good this outdoor season, but I've said it before, and everybody's gonna be like, "Well, you're playing the if game, and you keep repeating yourself, so shut up." But I'm just gonna say it. This season looks completely different for Chase Sexton if Jet does not fuck himself up in that first moto hang down.
100%.
Yeah.
I'm not even gonna go and say perfect season. I'm not gonna say that Chase wouldn't beat him, but I'm just gonna say it's way different than what it is.
How do you think Chase feels that Hunter came out on a brand new, largely untested bike?
Well, we can get into
did
that
what he
too.
did.
So Hunter goes 1-2 for second there on the new 25.
Yeah.
And he made it sound like it was a stock bike.
So here's a
I mean, we know the
here's
truth,
a super
but-
interesting thing I heard today with it. They say it's like a new frame, right? But from my understanding, the new frame is just the 24 frame with the brace that they've been running anyway. And there may be some other things that are new on it, but the big thing they keep talking about is the frame, and all it is the 24 frame that has the bracing bar that they had in it anyway as a race team. So it really isn't that much different. Now, I did hear maybe the airbox is a little different, and maybe some other little things, but it's not really like
It did look
that
more stable
different.
in
Yes.
going into corners and coming through the chop and stuff like that. It looked like he wasn't dancing.
No. And I was wildly impressed of him winning that first moto. Because not only did he win it, Chase caught him, passed him, and he battled back.
Yeah.
Ran him back.
When
he
Chase passed him,
right
I went,
back.
"Oh crap, here we go!" And then
Yeah, I
then
thought
it
he
came
was gonna
back.
Run away.
Mhm.
Yeah, quickly.
And we all know how long KTM has been playing with different frames for stiffness, flexing this and that, and that's turned a lot of guys down. It's turned a lot of guys on. Hondas with their frames, they've had issues with the front end being a little steep, turning a little bit too fast, not having enough stability.
Twitchy is what I hear.
Yes. And interestingly enough, though, over in the the European races, they weren't as bad because they don't have to run the production frame.
Yes,
so
correct.
They're playing with all the prototypes over there, and I'm wondering how much of that trickled down to the Hondas finally, because I got to be honest, okay? Growing up, being in this as long as I have, Honda, come on, what is wrong with you guys? The Honda guys all know what it takes to make these things work the best way that they possibly can.
Mm-hmm.
I think the bean counters have had their hands in it way too long and kick them out. Start making the good bikes that you guys know you can.
Yep.
Just get it done. You know? But as far as Hunter and the bike this weekend, that bike performed. Watching him come off the jumps, watching him land it, watching him go. I mean, what were those sections where it looked like there was a tire print?
Mm-hmm.
How much fun was that to ride in? I bet it wasn't at all.
No,
And
not at all.
That bike went through it without
terrible.
hiccuping. You know? I don't want to ride through that.
I know the track looked super rough.
Yeah, I mean...
But that bike stayed stable.
Yeah, so that was a good debut for that 25 there. And I'll tell you what, man, that was, from what I've heard, that was a push to make that happen there.
Can we just get them to make 350s now? Like, come on, guys. Let's go.
It's unfortunate.
I heard a rumor.
It's unfortunate.
But
so, so like I said, he goes 1-2 for second there. He really needed to win that second moto too, but I mean, there was nobody beating Chase that second moto. So,
him and AP both got, or Hunter and AP both got buried off the start.
Yeah,
just wasn't gonna happen.
The gate got held really long that second moto.
Forever.
Yeah,
it was terrible.
Yeah, so that was weird too. That got held really long.
That shot, the camera shot down the line, like every other bike was twitching a couple of times.
I heard Phil's bike was having to grab the front brake, and he was literally doing a burnout because his clutch was starting to let go. They were holding it for so long, it was crazy. So
Chase said in the interview that he was just going to blow through the gate.
Like, you see that guy, the kid at Loretta's that did that in like C class or something, like blew through the gate, like stopped, was like, and then like went, and then just went. And they were like, "What do you do on that?" I don't know. All right, so AP had a really good day, man. He goes 3-4 for 3. Okay.
With the start that he got in that second moto, man, I am impressed. I really am.
Well, second moto or first moto? First moto was the one because he got the whole shot the first moto.
Yeah.
So
the second one was where he was buried.
Good and hard in the first moto.
Yeah.
But he charged back and
I mean,
this is guys up. He said he felt great.
This is right. This is right where he is though. He is like that, either 1B or first tier of the second group guys essentially at this point, which he's found something with that KTM, which is good. So, Dylan Ferrandis, I thought we were going to have a real good Dylan sighting there. He goes 6-3 for 4th.
He's relevant again, sort of, ish. I'm just trying to be nice.
I don't know what happens with him next year. I haven't heard anything yet.
I will say this.
I think he retires.
You think so?
I do.
Well, I heard Husky, but the Husky's not going to be a thing.
I think I heard Ducati.
Well, he kind of got forced out last year, and he found the Phoenix Honda ride. And the Phoenix Honda ride, there's no way they're going to get all the same parts that the factory Hondas have. They're not going to.
No. All of them.
Right. So with the parts that he's got, he's riding a production-based bike with a bunch of good parts thrown at it and upgraded, good tuners and stuff. But there is a big gap between that and the factory bikes. Anybody that knows anything about the motocross, there is a gap. For Ferrandis to actually pull off that kind of a position this weekend, I got to say, the guy's still got it.
He does from time to time, man, but he's just been...
I think he needs to find his type of a track, like a Grand Prix style longer track like they do in Europe, and then he just rips.
The thing is we have such recency bias, right? So the bike he hated last year, that Star Yamaha, he finished second in points on it. So, like, you left, and then... I guess left is a loose term because they've got Tomac and Justin Cooper and Cooper Webb, so...
They had a full team.
Yeah, so it was like you just kind of got screwed out of that ride, essentially. But, but it's like, where you're going to go? I don't know.
And it was so late that he really did... I mean, he was out.
Yeah. Yeah, so like I said, I don't know about next year. I haven't heard anything yet. There was a rumor of Husky for a while, but now with the whole Husky gas shakeup, who knows? So we'll see.
That's a different story.
Yeah. thanks everybody who's tuning in on the live there. I do see a question: are they only talking 450s? We are doing the 450 race recap right this second. 250s in our halftime report, which has some silly season stuff and a few other things. Will be on the main show on Tuesday. Here, we're just doing a live preview for if you were to join our membership thing, which, like I said, by the end of tomorrow, I'll have marked down where you can join for as low as 99 cents to be able to watch the show live when we record like this. But we're doing some previews here at the end of the year for the last 6 here to kind of show you guys what you can look forward to if you're in the members area. Jason Anderson goes 5.5 for 5th. He looks like he's going so fast all the time, and then he's just here. Like, just looks like he's flying.
He looked like he got tired at the end of the day, I thought. He just kind of gave up on it. He got passed a couple times and was like, I'm out.
I mean, you can only torture yourself for so long before you're just like, yep, we're not catching them.
Yeah, for sure.
I saw some things acting up with his bike.
What do you mean?
Did you guys notice in some of the corners where you'd get the holes?
And then, like, drag his feet off the bike? Yeah.
Getting it? Well, if you watched Hunter on his Honda, or if you watched Chase, or even Aaron on the KTMs, okay, they would come out of there and the forks would suck it up. Anderson's 450, you watch that, and the forks would bang, and then it would hit the rear end and kick out. Now, I don't know if it was working like that around the whole track.
I didn't catch that, so good catch.
He was pushing that thing is awfully hard. And I think he ran out of gas. And that'll do it.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, that'll happen. If you're getting bounced around like that, that'll definitely wear you out quickly.
Yeah.
So, all right, Justin Cooper goes 4.7 for 6th. Him and AP are like, I think AP put 5 points on him this weekend here for 3rd place in points, which I'm sure they have bonuses for that, so that's important to him. So
absolutely.
I don't remember seeing him in the broadcast. Like, there was very little.
He was up top in qualifying there for a while.
Right, but during the motos, like,
he had some issue. One of the motos, radiator got bent or something too. I don't remember. So just a typical Justin Cooper day. Ken Roxon makes a triumphant return, goes 7.6 for 7th. Now, I did expect more out of him because he's Ken Roxon. However, one thing I didn't, I guess, factor in here.
He hasn't ridden it forever.
He's coming off an injury, so that's the one thing I didn't factor in. And second moto, we did get a better start, and we did there we go. And we did have our Kenny sprint speed for the first couple of laps there and put it to some people. And then we started our fade. But
Christian Craig was up there too.
Okay.
That's another guy, man. You just got to wonder what he's made of. Because I'll tell you what, after breaking his leg like he did.
Piss and vinegar, man. Piss and vinegar.
I don't know anybody that comes off of a break on a leg like that.
Kenny's
in a weird spot, too.
Yeah. I mean, come on. You know, I saw when he went down and he was laying there on the track and stuff. You know, all right. The guy's had some bad injuries. Anytime you get your arm wrapped up in a wheel, it's not going to be good, okay? That right there is a career-ending injury. For anybody that isn't, I mean, you got to push yourself so hard. And to have another injury where you break a leg like that, I mean, and he's bad.
Yeah.
The fact that he rode and he was up as far as he was, I mean.
So this is something I like here. This is something I like that we're getting now. Because of these playoffs, it's making, and because of the way they're breaking up the outdoors, which is you go like 4, 4, 3, or however you break it up. The last few, we're getting guys coming back, a la Cooper Webb, a la Ken Roxon, a la whatever, to get warmed up for the SMX playoff races.
Yes.
Which is super cool. Like, as much as I talked about the name of the SMX being dumb and some other things I didn't particularly care for about it, or where did this money magically come from all of a sudden, I do like that it's doing things like this because it's giving us stuff to talk about. Like, otherwise, Kenny doesn't come back. We don't see Kenny. We don't see Cooper Webb.
Nope.
We don't see Eli Tomac, who's coming back next week. There's all these things. And we'll get into Ken Roxon in the halftime report, too, for coming up 2 weeks in Ironman there when he's going to ride that 250. We'll discuss that, but we'll just keep going through 450s here. Christian Craig, 9.8 for 8th. Okay.
Another guy that came back.
Another guy that came back. He was having such elbow issues, though.
He's building.
Yeah.
He's building his way back slowly.
He is.
Smart.
But I've heard a lot of different things about next year for him. and I don't know which way it's going to go. All the way down to test rider for Star.
Yeah, I heard that too.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I am surprised at this particular point that Craig has not retired.
I think it's getting close, but I
Yeah.
just don't think he's quite ready yet. So, I don't know. We'll see. I do think now we have enough data, which is hard too because he's got that arm. Have you guys seen that arm? Like, there's no muscle in it. So he's literally just racing with an arm that like just is flopping
like
around.
half the
Yeah.
arm.
Yeah. So I guess that's a little hard to tell, but I was kind of waiting because like outdoors on the 450, obviously we'd seen for several years there how good he was on it. So I was waiting for him to put in 450 outdoor ride here on this Husky to determine was it the bike, whatever. I do think the bike's part of it. I don't think that Husky agrees with him. That steel frame gang, he's not about that life. I think he needs that aluminum flex per se, or stiffness now, whatever you call it.
I don't know. I think with Christian Craig, he has the injuries. They're happening more and more often.
Yes.
And I hope somebody has a sense to actually tell him, listen, man, you're riding like this now.
Mm-hmm.
How bad does it have to get before you stop?
Yeah.
You have your whole life in front of you.
I don't know, man. I think he's still got... The thing we forget is he took time off there, though, in the middle of his career, too, here in his younger years because he broke his back there. So I think he's still got some in the tank, and I think he's still, like... The thing is that we're so top-heavy, per se, in this sport. It's like, he's getting 8th here, and we're like, man, you should hang it up, bro.
That field is stacked.
He is the 8th best dude right now, or top 10 guy in professional motocross and supercross on any given day, on any given bike.
Yeah.
So, and it's like if you put him on a bike that he gels with better, a la Star Yamaha, maybe a HRC, I mean, you're talking a top 5 guy on those. So, I don't know. I'm glad to see him actually putting together some things, though, and getting finishes. So, Stu goes 10-9 for 9th. Probably hasn't been to Unadilla in 10 years, much like most of the other outdoor tracks at this point. Or no, he rode Unadilla last year, right? I think so. Hold on. I think he did.
I don't think he rode any outdoors
No,
last
I
year.
think he came back last year. Hold on a second here. He did. He did Dilla, Buds, and Ironman. He went 15-9-8.
Okay.
So, yeah, because he came back because of playoffs, guys. Playoffs. It's all about playoffs.
Top running Husky guy, which...
Yep.
Yeah.
Through next year.
I know.
Before that goes away.
That's true.
Grant Harlan goes 11-10 for 10th. Good for him.
That was good.
Freddie Noren goes 12-11 for 11th. Okay. Eric Koulos goes 15-12 for 12th. Phil Nicoletti, the Grand Marshal of the race. Very impressive. Goes 13-15 for 13th.
I think he would have done a lot better if he'd have got that second start, too.
Yes. Shane McElrath goes 16-13 for 14th. So, fun fact about Shane. He didn't really get fired, per se. He left on his own doing. From what I understand, it was, hey, motocross isn't really going that great. Why don't you sit out this last 3 and then come back for the SMX rounds? And he said, no, F you, I want to ride. So he went out, found his own thing to do. Which, again, I think comes down to some playoff intentions here. So, and this is where it's interesting with these playoffs, too, because these changes in the middle of the year that we're seeing now, which we would have never seen before, because everybody would have just sat out until we came back around to Supercross, makes this so much better.
It's so weird seeing the green triangle in front of his name. It's odd.
It is. It is. Cooper Webb comes back, goes 8:35 for 15th. Second moto had a crash.
What did he do? What happened to his arm?
From what I understand, the crash was very similar to the one that happened in Alabama during Supercross, which is what fucked up his thumb in the first place. So his fingers crossed that it's not fucked up again.
Oh, he was holding that arm tight. And
Yes, he was. That was one like a busted limb.
I bet you we hear more tomorrow or
We'll see, man. We'll see.
I don't think it's good.
Roman Pope goes 19-16 for 16th. Colt Nichols makes his debut on the Twisted T Suzuki there and goes 23-14 for 17th. Okay. I think it'll get better.
I think he found something for that second race.
What?
I think he found something for that second race.
I mean, I think it's just we hype these guys up as they're going to come in. Colt hasn't rode an outdoor race in several years now at this point. So, okay, like this is just kind of where I think he slots in. He's essentially trying to rebuild his career here.
Yeah.
So, we'll see. Michigan's own Marshall Welton goes 14-38 for 18th. Chiz goes 22-17 for 19th, and Henry Jacoby goes 17 DNF for 20th there.
What happened to Marsh in the second moto?
Heard
he was running like 10th, 11th.
Heard he had a big one and then a front flat, so he pulled off. So
sucks.
that would be what happened to Marsh. And
saw his brother last weekend.
You what?
His brother was at BCMC last
really?
weekend. Yeah.
So that's been your 450 race recap there, brought to you by our friends at Gutterworks. Always well hung, just like Justin Barsha. And that is going to conclude our live stream there for our little members preview. So thank y'all for tuning in. Again, make sure to go join the members side of things here on YouTube. And you can watch these live. And like I said, we will be doing some more live previews here for the next, for the rest of the races for this year. So thank y'all for tuning in. For all of you who are watching here on the recorded side of things, we're going to take a quick break, and then we will be back with our Complete Racing Solutions halftime report and our 250 race recap brought to you by Flo Racing, and then get this thing all wound up and done. So we'll be right back. All right, and we're back. Thanks, everybody, for tuning in here. Thank you, all of you who watched that little live stream. Again, you can join it, the members area there, and you'll get to watch the full show live streamed coming up starting in 2025. So, we did 450 race recap here. Let's jump into our Complete Racing Solutions halftime report. Okay, so first thing I got on here, Pro Circuit signs Tie Master Pool for a indoor-outdoor deal for 2025. I'm not sure if it's 26 also. I can't remember. Maybe it was a 2-year deal. I don't remember. But at least 25. Pro Circuit's new motto. We'll sign 7 dudes in hopes that we can keep 4 healthy so we have 4 bikes on track at all times.
Just 4 healthy?
That's what they're hoping for.
I mean, they've kind of been cursed for a while.
It's been not a great thing for Pro Circuit here since Justin Hill won him a title there. So,
that's true.
Okay, so
I'm surprised. I'm really surprised Mitch hasn't had a stroke over all of that stuff.
I'm not upset that they signed Ty. I just wish they would have signed him.
He's a good move.
I wish they would have signed him for SX fill-in deal / full-time outdoor guy for him. Why not just do that? I don't understand. Here's the thing. What are you doing with Drew Adams? I talked about this in a video this week. What are you doing with him?
Where is he?
Huh?
Where is he?
Drew Adams?
Yeah.
Well, he just won 5 out of 6 motos at Loretta's, and the one was it Pro Sport 250 or Open Pro Sport that he didn't win. I don't remember. It was the first moto. He got buried on the start. He was like, I think he might have even gone down. He was like 40th on the first lap and came back to 4th. He was the only guy in the Pro Sport class that could make moves there. And, I mean, he was a man amongst boys. And mind you, he raced the Canadian Pro National race on Sunday and flew into Loretta's Monday just in time to make his practice and still dominated everybody last week.
How many classes did he end up winning? I mean, he just took them.
He won both. He won.
ran.
He won Pro Sport and Open Pro Sport, and like I said, 5 out of 6 motos. And the only one he didn't dominate, he made it all the way back to 4th. And to be honest, I really thought he was going to win that one at one point. So, I don't know, man. Man amongst boys. He's out there racing, like legitimately racing. He's making his pro debut at Ironman here. I'll be super interested to see how that goes.
That'd be awesome.
But my thing is I think he won Futures this year, didn't he?
Yeah, I think so.
I think he did. So I think he's going to do Futures again next year and then go pro for outdoors is what I'm hearing. And I think that gives them then 7 guys on PC there.
I'm pretty sure he's definitely earmarked for Mitch's team coming up.
You would think, but man,
he was at Loretta's.
Yeah.
was
He'd be
watching.
foolish
You
to let him
know.
go.
Yeah, he went there to watch. There were a few riders that he went to see.
Yeah.
And he's got an eye for talent. That guy's good.
Well, here's the thing. So as far as Kawasaki's guys go, you've got like him and Janik right now. They're getting ready to graduate. Janik's going to go to Triumph. I've heard from trusted sources through the Triumph ring here. He's going to Triumph.
Well, he's been training with Stanton for a minute.
I've heard through trusted sources he is going to Triumph. Okay, so Janik is going to be off the Kawasaki probably next year.
Okay.
Go to Triumph. So you've got Drew Adams here, and I know he's kind of an unknown, but his trajectory seems pretty effing good here as things go. And I know he's young, which is why they'll have him race Supercross Futures again next year, but I still think here's the thing I'm nervous about essentially for Mitch. Star Yamaha tends to bust out a bunch of money for people just randomly and take them from them. So, I mean, look at Cole Davies there. Cole Davies, and I hit up what's his name there? Daniel Blair, and I was like, what happened with that? He's like, they came up with a bunch of money that we didn't want to spend. Essentially, like, I guess not didn't want to spend. We just weren't willing to write a check as big as they were. So I don't know. And the thing is with Drew's trajectory here, and let's face it, Hayden's not long for that 250 team.
Right.
So they're gotta be looking towards the future. And what do they have once Hayden leaves? Not a lot right now.
When do you think he's going to
I will say this, though. In all of the stuff that we're seeing with the 250 class, you have got a bunch of riders that are coming up there. And we know that the top guys in the 250 class they'll need somewhere to go.
Yeah.
They get too many points. But look at how high.
Well, it's not points anymore.
Look at how heavily stacked the 450 class is right now with the guys getting old and not going anywhere.
But you're going to get some guys dropping off.
Sure.
So Tomac's got maybe 2 years left. Roxon a couple years left. Ando's 2-3 years left. Craig obviously doesn't have very many years. All of a sudden, there will be this huge vacuum there, which will be good because you'll be able to move guys up here. But you are right. It is started like the system starting to back up with guys not retiring like they did before in their 20s. So what happens? I think it really starts opening the door for these teams need to have a, call it, feeder team.
Yes.
And really have that option available. We're like, hey, guess what? We want you for the main team, but until so-and-so retires or somebody gets hurt or somebody moves on, we just don't have a spot. But here's our feeder team. Here's our Mad Parts Kawasaki. Here's our AEO KTM, whatever. We'll put you on there. We'll cover expenses. We'll put you on a really good bonus program. If you do win with that, we'll get you parts, certain factory parts with that. And you're going to stay there essentially, just like they do in Formula One. You have your AlphaTauris, which back up the Red Bull team, and then that way when somebody in Red Bull gets hurt, you pull somebody from AlphaTauri, and boom, you've got a guy who's been doing it essentially. So, but yeah, so PC's going to have 8 guys next year. They're trying to be Star Yamaha 2.0 here.
Could be.
When do you think Levi and Hayden move up? Ooh. I've been thinking a lot about that.
Okay, so because I've been getting this question a lot recently. So the Deegs is going to win this outdoor title. He will then win Supercross next year, barring anything catastrophic. He will then win. I would be hard pressed to say they're not going to defend the outdoor title to be able to get all the content they need with him with the number 1 plate. That would be really weird for me if they did not defend the outdoor title. But I could also see, fuck it, we're going 450s. Come outdoors next year. Because he could technically ride 450 outdoors and then defend the 250 title in Supercross in 26, and then starting 26 outdoors, go full-time 450. So I don't know.
Seems logical.
I don't know.
They did that with Webb. They had him defend the 250 title, number 1 plate.
Yeah.
And then they moved him up.
There's no way they don't defend at least this title, if not the Supercross one also, if they win it. Now, here's the other thing. Here's the other caveat to that, though. I think if he doesn't win a Supercross title next year, something happens, he gets hurt, whatever again, I think then it doesn't matter. I think come 26, they're going 450s full-time, then he'll probably be 450 Supercross. because I think that is a very limited window we have here of them wanting to stay on these small bikes, because I don't think they want to stay on a team that they are locked in with certain sponsors. I think they want to be able to go get their own money.
I agree with that 100%.
As much as they like racing and winning, they like making that moolah a whole heck of a lot, and they're all business minded like that. So
he's got a very good name to shop too.
Mm-hmm. And you can't tell me that. And I've heard two different rustlings with him. I have heard the Kawasaki thing's pretty legit, and Monster's trying to stroke a big ass check to put him on the bike after Ando's done next year. And then I've also heard a lot of rumblings that Brian is saying, screw it, we're just going to go start our own team, because let's face it, they can pull sponsors. They're not going to lack for money. Their big lack is going to be, can they find a OE that will give them factory stuff while doing their own thing.
And I wonder where Ducati will fall into place with all of this in the coming years.
So Ducati is a super interesting thing. So the main rumor I'm hearing is that Ducati and Troy Lee are teaming up, because so here's the thing with Ducati. We've all been running around saying that Ducati's got all this money, but from what I really understand through some people that I know that may or may not be making an offer to try to do a team with them, they are not bringing as much money as you think, and they want you to produce X amount of funding for
That's
it.
the way the European way works for racing.
So I don't know how this all fits in. Now, I will say there has been serious talks with Cooper Webb. That is confirmed through people I know, that there was very serious talks there. There's very serious talks with Ken Roxon also. But nothing solid yet, and everyone kind of leaves more confused than they came into these conversations, from what I understand, because no one really knows what's happening with Ducati yet here, because they haven't announced anything. So
it's pretty typical of Ducati. They do that a lot with their World Superbike and their MotoGP stuff.
Here's the problem. Their bikes are so fucking good. We've seen it with
the
MotoGP.
Yes. The World Superbike, yes, but they've had decades to develop them.
Well, let's move into the Ducati talk here. So Ducati is going to debut an MXGP next week with Antonio Caroli there.
Mm-hmm.
They're going to actually get to do an MXGP race.
That'll be cool to watch.
Be a good one, no doubt about it.
If he goes out and wins, what does that do for that brand?
The other riders actually been placing better than Caroli, though.
Well, I understand.
You know, they've got a stellar team.
I'm just interested to see what that bike's like compared to the rest of them. So, and I think that'll be a really good test there for that. So, I don't know. I'm on pins and needles waiting for Ducati to show up here on stateside. Yeah. So, but like I said, there is the heavy rumor right now is Troy Lee, but I do know of one other group that's making a bid here to try and be that team also. So, okay, so we talked Master Pool, Ducati. Tomac comes back next week for Buds, again, to kind of call it get warm for SMX. Anybody think he's going to do anything?
Top 10.
Thank you.
Eli's a smart rider. If he knows that he's going to go for SMX and all of that, I think he's going to play a little conservative.
Okay.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yep.
He's been around.
Yeah, long enough that he's not going to go out there and do anything stupid.
Right.
The problem is that we have legions of Tomac fans that he's just going to come dominate. No, he's not. No, he's not.
I think he'll play it cool. I think he knows the program. He knows what he's got to do for the end of the year.
He's here for 2 races to get gate drops in, to get warmed up, to shake the bike back out, to say, okay, cool, we're ready for this SMX shit.
Yep.
So.
And I got to believe Budds Creek, that place is going to be packed. And like you said, there are a mass of Tomac fans out there.
Yep.
They're going to be glad that he's back. I mean, he's one of those guys that you can just watch and you just wait for him to come around.
100%.
He's Eli Tomac.
Yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see him at Ironman. So that'll be great. So, all right. Anything else that you two can think of?
When's Barsha expected to come back?
I don't know. He said he's week to week at this point. Because he made an announcement this week that he is trying to come back, but he's week to week. So,
What about that? They didn't show it for long. I feel like it was late in the broadcast, but the new technology that they've been working on.
The inflatable thing.
No,
with Alpine Stars?
That too. That seems pretty cool. It looked like a couple of guys might have been wearing that, but no. The track map that was down in the lower right corner with a little GPS follower, which is supposed to be able to allow them to alert flaggers and send off lights on blind jumps, which of course everybody's up in arms about the flagging situation. So
it seems like it's one of those things. It's like a blue car. You don't see a blue car till you buy a blue car. We don't see flagger issues until we start seeing them, and then it's like this. We can't not see them. So I do like that technology. They had it at Loretta's when I was watching Loretta's broadcast on all the bikes. And that was pretty cool because you could see kind of where everybody was on the track, which was real helpful.
I heard they used it for futures too, but didn't show us.
Yeah. I like that we're bringing in new technology and trying new things. I'm very positive on this with Feld and MX Sports and that kind of stuff. Like, this is great. We need stuff like that.
Yeah, they've needed things like this for a long time. I'll tell you, to be implementing it right now, I think it's probably one of the best times, because if they can get the guys to actually understand it, know what it is when it's going off.
Yep.
When it comes time for Supercross.
Yep.
That's just all that much better. It's going to make it a lot safer.
It'd be pretty cool if they could put it like in an app, where you could literally pull that up while you're watching.
I have been preaching this for 2 years now of like, man, if they had a onboard cam with every single person where I could buy that in the app and then go through and watch the race from every single point of view to see like, okay, what Shane McElrath see today, I would spend ungodly amounts of money, of the show's money, to be subscribed to that, to go back and watch stuff.
Let's develop it.
They keep trying these onboard cameras, but for some reason the onboard cameras in the 80s are better than the onboard cameras in 2020s. I'm not sure why. I don't know what's happening with it, but we need it.
Let's get Jaywalk and Thomas involved. They're the kings of the GoPros and whatever else out there.
Can't have a GoPro on because you might break your neck with it.
That's a little bit of them all. There's liability built into everything.
Yeah.
But with the advent of the cameras in as small as we've actually got them, they've got them on the GP bikes. They've made them small enough where you can put them in where there's a screw for one of the windshields.
Well, and Kev was cutting a little hole in his number plate and putting it in there for a while, and that was a cool view.
Yeah. The only thing that does suck with Moto is they get covered in mud. And I know this because I've had GoPros since I started riding, and that'll happen. So it's like, you can pay all this money for that, but if 3/4 of the guys' camera's covered in mud, like, what are you paying to watch this muddy mess? So until we figure out, I think, like a cleaning thing too, or tear-off system with it or something, and
it never fails.
No.
You can make it as small as you want. That mud, you'd see it flying.
Yep.
Straight there.
Yep. So, okay, anything else for the halftime report that's not 250 related?
I don't think so.
Per se?
No.
Oh, I remember damn, I didn't put that on here. Let's talk Ken Roxon, 250 class at Ironman in 2 weeks here. Let's bench race about that. I'm going to bench race this weekend, next week.
I have to go.
What do you guys think he'll do?
Honestly?
Yeah.
Honestly?
No, I don't want you to lie to me.
I think he's going to get his ass handed to him.
Okay. Is that a bike issue or that's a Ken Roxon issue?
I think that is going to be both. It's going to be a combination. Now, here's the thing. I have the utmost awe for him and his ability to ride a bike and maintain the speed till the end of the race.
Yes.
He is phenomenal at that.
Mm-hmm.
He is phenomenal at making just about anything go fast.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? But when he hops to something else, I don't know. I think he'll go fast with that, but I don't know if he'll be fast enough.
What do we know about the Suzuki 250?
It's okay, not the best.
I mean,
it's not gonna outstart a
star bike.
Or a PC bike.
It was a great engine 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It's the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
Hasn't changed.
I don't know. Okay, so they were talking on the Pulp review, which I'm sure you've listened to because you've made some comments. So he went 7.6 this week in 450s, right?
Mm-hmm.
Pierce Brown went 7.7 in 250s.
Mm-hmm.
Where do you see on a riding level, Pierce Brown compared to Ken Roczen.
Nowhere close.
There isn't.
You're right.
Pierce
Pierce
Brown
has been out for moto after moto after moto for the last year, and Ken hasn't.
Yeah, I don't know. When you start to look at it that way, you just go, man, like, okay, yeah, I want to say he's a 5 to 10 there in the 250 class, but if he is,
He's
then
gonna push so hard.
does that kind of blow out the whole like that the 450 guys are way better than these 250 kids? I don't know. This is an interesting experiment that we're all, I think, anxious to see. So, I think he's in the. I think he's a 5 to 10 dude because so he has massive sprint speed at the beginning, right? He's a fast twitch guy. We've talked about this ad nauseum. So I think that the first couple laps, he's gonna look really, really good. But my question is are those lunatics on 250s, because we all know the 450s aren't quite as crazy, are these lunatics on 250s in that realm also because they're fucking lunatics and they're kids?
Well, that's one of the issues that'll play into it. I think another one of the issues, though, is that 250 is going to be easier to ride than a 450 is for him.
Yeah.
Without having as much power, he may be able to keep a lot more speed going.
Yes.
Now, with that can bring a very, very big plus.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a question, though. We keep letting the guys go. If he's getting to go back and play in the 250s, whose points is he going to be screwing up?
So I don't know who he's screwing up 250 wise. I know for him, he can't make any moves. Even if he came back these last 3 and won every single one, he can't make any moves for playoffs.
He's not going to make a headway in the 450.
Yeah, so it doesn't matter. So which is part of the reason I think why he's doing it.
How about the points for the 250 class?
I don't know. I haven't looked those up. Yeah.
Everybody's wondering that question too.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, I can understand it from his side. Hey, let's do this. It could be fun. This could be great.
Could be fun. Nobody's done it.
Gives us something to talk about. Gives us something to talk about. And I'm all about that because we need things to talk about all the time.
Let's look back. All right, Joey Savagey, he went to the 450 class and he's back in the 250 class. Okay, well, now he's back in the 250 class and he's riding the Triumph.
Mm-hmm.
All right. He used to not be able to really go back unless you spent so much time off.
Mm-hmm. Well, but for outdoors you can.
Okay.
Because outdoors is a national class. It's only Supercross that's fuckety.
Yes. Okay.
Because it's regional.
Yes. So, and we're getting farther and farther away from that because they already changed that where the only way you get kicked out 250 class now in Supercross is if you win a title. If you win a title, you have 1 year to defend and then you're out.
Yep.
So
what's going to keep all the other guys that are in the 450 class that are maybe timing out from going back to the 250 class?
I don't know. I'll tell you what. If I was one of those guys, especially looking for a Supercross only deal, it would be really hard for me not to go to some of those lower teams and be like, "Hey, just give me a good bonus structure, and I'll go out and I'll win this, or let me pull my own sponsors here, and I'll go out and I'll win races in Supercross because you're a regional lights team, and I'll just go do these 9 Supercross races with you because I want to keep riding my motorcycle."
Yeah.
I mean, it would be super cool to see.
I feel like most guys probably would prefer to ride a 250 in Supercross.
Yeah.
Honestly.
Well,
the 450 is a lot of bike for as
the
tight as
250s you got to ring out, though, is the problem. You got to ring those suckers out. They're wound tight.
Just about defy physics on those tracks now, though.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, jumping, coming down, they've got 50 feet from a hard 90 degree, and they on the brakes at what speed coming down. I mean, they're phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
So the 250s are probably easier to ride, but wouldn't that be cool? I mean, so if Roczen does really good in the 250 class, see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
If he does really good, tempting.
Mm-hmm. Look, let's put it this way. I don't think he beats Deegan. I think Deegan beats him.
But who he's going for.
Who?
I think he's going for Deegan.
I think he
you think he's going to beat him? Oh, gotcha.
I think that's that.
Yeah.
Maybe not so many words, but this kid's pretty dang good. He doesn't look like he's got too much competition out there. But then look at Kitchen turning on. I mean, that kid has got some speed.
Yeah, I got to see Kitchen stay hot for more than a couple of races at a time.
I agree, but
because he's hot. He is way too hot and cold for me. I've preached this, and I've started preaching it more and more about him because now he's starting to be more hot, but he's like he's got these cold moments. Washougal last week,
I think
or 2 weeks
said
ago.
that Washougal, there's a lot of pressure, hometown race.
Yeah,
and I think
and he was doing a
he
lot
put a lot of pressure
outside
on himself.
stuff,
And outside stuff, and got out of his routine a little bit.
Yep.
So
we'll see.
I mean, it's an excuse, but
hopefully he keeps it turned up the last couple here, and I can start buying into the kitchen hype. But outside of
it's
that,
fun
I'm
to
still
watch
like,
those two battle.
yes,
Yes, it is.
yes.
Yes, it is.
So
I was surprised to see how fast he and Masterpool got off the line this weekend.
yeah, well, we'll get to that
We
here in
won't
a
get into
second.
that.
Here, we'll get to that here in a second. So, all right, so that's been your Complete Racing Solutions halftime report. Again, make sure to check them out. Express workouts this month. Link in the description down below here. All right, 250 race recap. Last thing for the show here. Brought to you by our friends at Flo Racing. Make sure to check them out. PW50 parts, other parts. Are you making frame guards for them?
We are.
Okay. All right. I thought so.
We are. And the Cobras.
You sold a whole bunch of those yet, or what?
Actually, more of the Cobras.
Okay.
The Cobra 50, what is it? The King and the Senior.
I feel like we should put some marketing dollars
FWE.
behind these. Sell the shit out of them.
Yeah, it'd be cool to be able to mass produce them a little bit easier than the way we're doing it now. But yeah, and we're actually getting ready to work on the 65 Cobras as well.
Cool. Super cool.
P-dubs are easy. We can custom make them to pretty much almost any color
cool
scheme you have going on your bike.
Hell yeah.
So
so make sure to check them out, proflowracing.com. Link in the description down below here. All right, let's start off here. So Kitching goes 2-1 for first overall. Again, great day. Good starts there.
Yeah.
Really ripping. Really ripping. So too little too late, per se, here, because he's got no shot at this title whatsoever. But, okay. Thoughts? Comments? Concerns? Anything?
I think he found a track that he matched with,
Yes.
and he really put in the performance that I think he really wanted to do. And I was impressed with his ride.
Yeah.
Really impressed. I was impressed that Masterpool was actually up behind him.
Their
as
starts
close
were
as he
phenomenal.
was. They both got great starts.
Poor Ty, though, could not stay on two wheels yesterday. That was rough.
yeah.
Like, we'll get to him here wherever I find him. I'm not sure. I don't even know where he finished. But that was rough because he had great starts both motos, and then just like that second moto for sure. I remember he just tipped over there, like third corner in or whatever. Just whoop. Oh, sorry. So,
Kitchen had a real consistent long race. He stayed pretty consistent throughout the entire time. Made a few mistakes, but
I'll go on the.
rebounded pretty good.
Hopefully he maintains this kind of upwards trajectory because it'll make the playoffs better.
I agree.
So, because otherwise here, what I'm nervous of, if someone like him does not go on an upwards trajectory here, those 3 playoff races in 250 class are going to be boring. Because you've got a kid coming in with that number 1 plate who knows he's the man at those races.
Oh, yeah.
Won it last year without even really, what he win? 1 out of 6 motos was all, and he still won it. And now he's winning this outdoor title without really necessarily winning every single effing moto, and by a lot. Oh boy.
A lot.
And an outdoors
Huge
here,
lead.
everybody's here. So it's not like he's racing half the field like Supercross. So so we'll see here.
When's the last time there was that kind of points lead?
I don't know.
Like, he's got a massive points lead.
73, I think he is,
what
or
was his
something like
name?
that.
Malcolm Stewart. I think that was the last time.
They have a big one when he won
Oh yeah, he ripped.
the Supercross title?
Outdoor.
He doesn't have an outdoor title though, does he? Stu? I don't think Stu's won an outdoor title. I think he just won this. He just won the Supercross title.
Oh, maybe.
Okay.
Stu hasn't raced outdoors in 10 years, so
It's been a while.
So I don't think he's got an outdoor title. They'll comment on it here. They will tell you how stupid you are if he does not have an outdoor
I
title.
agree
Don't
with
you
that.
worry. Don't get into him.
I thought when Stewart was racing that he did have a massive points lead. I don't know what happened or what not, but
I don't know.
for a long time he was that guy that couldn't be caught until Ricky.
I don't know. Oh, wait, are you talking James or Malcolm?
James.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yeah. James. Yeah. Never mind. Okay. Good thing we corrected that, because otherwise they'd have came for you talking Malcolm.
No, not
yeah.
Malcolm.
No. James.
Hey,
yeah.
Old guy.
Yes.
2008.
It's back a ways.
Because that was when we went perfect season.
Yep.
So, all right. So now we'll get into our Isaac
Sorry
Nelson
about that.
Designs Deegan Danger Zone here. So Deegs goes 1-2 for second. I mean, dude, the kid's just ripping and roll. How does he win that first moto? Literally, I was driving. Watched like the first 10 minutes while I was driving. I get to the campsite. I get the internet set up. I turn it on. There's 2 laps to go. He's got a 3-second lead, and Hymus was 10 seconds ahead of everybody when it stopped working in the truck. I'm like, the fuck just happened?
Wild.
When it's your year, it's your year. I keep saying this. It's his year for outdoors. It's his year.
It'd be hard to deny it. He's got it pretty much on a lock.
Yeah.
And it seems like whoever gets in front of him, something happens.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I was very surprised this weekend with Kitchen. He went the distance.
Yeah.
Hymus, man, that was a smack.
Oh, that crash was nasty.
That was terrible.
I thought it looked like, the pipe was on his
Neck.
upper body, neck. The flagger did try to lift the bike off him pretty quickly, but he laid there for a minute, and then they panned the camera away.
And then he gets up and gets back on.
Yeah, like,
and this comes into the how do you let somebody who's laid there like that get back on?
Yeah.
And I understand you knock the wind out of yourself, whatever, but man, I don't know. I feel like there's at some point there's got to be something, and I understand too, because like I think back to my hockey days. There were so many times that I think about now that I'm like, dude, I should not have been on that ice because
for sure
I had whiplash, concussion, whatever the hell you want to call it. And I mean, I distinctly remember hitting guys and then being like, oof.
Seeing
hold
stars.
On. Yep.
Yeah, you should have been
there
in the box.
Yep. Should have just been off the ice.
I saw a comment on Instagram this morning. Somebody's like, well, he passed concussion protocol. Like, what do you mean? Like,
what
that
concussion protocol in the middle of the fucking race?
On the track with 2 Alpine Stars guys there, like, what? They flashlight his eyes. Oh, you're fine. Go ahead.
No.
Or did he just say, F you, I'm going?
Yeah.
Like,
well, I tell you what, anybody.
And then he pulls off.
Yeah. Anybody that's ever been in a big race, if you make it into first place, that adrenaline is cranking.
Yes.
Sure.
Yes.
And if you crash.
Yes.
When you get up, you're going to do what you can to get back in it because you were leading, and it's like, give me back in, put me in, coach. And it's, I don't know if I would agree with after he laid there like that, if them allowing him to go back in because, he got hit by the bike in the helmet as he was rolling.
Yeah.
And then he went onto the ground and the bike landed on him.
Yeah, not to mention his hit to the ground, and then the bike smacked him too. I have a hard time believing that he didn't lose consciousness to some extent.
This is like a McAdoo situation. He was fine.
Yes,
yeah,
it is.
Right? Never out once. So, all right. So you guys think Deegs wraps this title first moto next week?
Yes.
Comes out, wins that first moto,
He's
just
come
wraps
out of
it
the
up.
weekend with the title. I do. Yeah.
I mean, he definitely will come out with the title.
Yeah.
It's just, does he wrap it first moto or second moto? Is going to be the thing.
Probably first.
I have a hard time believing it's not first moto.
I would hope it is the first. I hope nothing happens.
Yeah.
I hope nothing happens. But
it's his year though. So
we just saw 2 guys, possibly 3 guys, if luck's on his side, that could actually maybe give him a run for the money.
Well, yeah. You guys think he rides a 450 in Ironman if he wins this title next weekend?
Why not?
I mean, I put it out there.
I would hope not.
I kind of think he would.
The reason I say that, though, is this. Okay, right now, everything's going good. Okay? If he gets a 450, think it's going to be a stock 450?
Oh, no.
No. What could possibly happen on a 450,
There was a video of him riding this last week on a 450.
Yeah, but that happens all the time for practice. There's a lot of 250 guys who ride a 450 during the week, strictly for maintenance schedules, because they don't have to change the motor out as much in the 450 as they do a 250F. So
that's good
that
practice.
will actually legitimately happen a lot, and it happens with all the 250 guys. So, But yeah, no, I put this out here in a video during the break of like, man, if he refs this title early, it would not surprise me to see him on a 450 Ironman. Kenny's coming in on a 250.
It wouldn't surprise me either. He's testing the waters in all the different areas.
And they do this. They do the stuff for the internet. And him riding a 450. And can you imagine if he went out and won a moto on a 450? What would happen? Goes out, beats Chase.
I could see him doing it easy.
Wow.
I could too. Honestly,
the kid's got the speed.
I think he can. I think he could beat Chase. You put Jet up against him, I think it's tougher. But man, the more he rides, the closer it gets. And I actually, so fun fact, they've been talking about his trajectory is very similar to Jet's, and I was like, no flipping way. And then I saw a breakdown of Jet's, how his seasons went prior to him winning his first title and stuff, and how many times it took him, and I went, oh shit, this is like right on brand here. Like if he wins a Supercross title next year, he's right on par with Jet as far as like how many seasons it took him, and we're talking generational with Jet. So I don't know, man. I'm coming around on this Deegan kid, which is weird, but
no, it's not.
He's just good for the sport. That's the thing.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. I understand exactly why you were kind of like against Deegan in the beginning, and I was kind of the same. And I figured out why that was. Okay. Now, Brian Deegan, his dad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, he was the guy that was against the grain.
Yep.
All right.
Every step of the way.
He did the Supercross. He did motocross. Did all that stuff. But then he went and he started doing the freestyle motocross where he and Pastrana played the good guy, bad guy.
Yep.
Okay. Well, the good guy, he might not have got all the fame and everything. Well, he did. But Deegan had such a following with the Metal Militia and everything like that it just went boom. And he kind of got that, if you didn't know him, you kind of got the idea that he was one of those guys that was like, in your face, da-da-da-da-da. You didn't know who he was, but you had a built-up idea.
Yep.
And now his kid is in it, and it's like, oh, yeah, here we go.
Yep.
Okay, so I'm guilty of that,
It's
just
a
as
bit of
everybody
a
else, may have
flashback.
seen it like that. But I think Hayden Deegan, he had the, genetics, whatever, okay, the gene pool flowed down through him, he's got skills. This kid has skills.
Yes, he does.
Okay?
And drive.
Yes. Yep. And he has got the talent, the speed, he has got the stamina, and he has proved it time and time again.
Yep.
Now, Star Racing Yamaha has given him a phenomenal bike.
Yep.
And it has been reliable. Okay? It has allowed him to do what he has had to do this year through that class.
Yep.
Now, I think, looking at everything that we have here in play, I think if Yamaha was looking to get him into another place, or if Hayden wants to get into another place, I think it would be to challenge one guy. There's one guy out there that he would like to challenge, and that's Jet.
Yep.
For sure.
Yep. So if he's thinking about doing the 450, ride the 450 for Ironman, show the world what he can do.
Yeah.
I think that may be the reason. He's going for everything he can, which good for him, man. I mean, that kid, he's got age is on his side. He's young.
Yeah.
He's, how would I say? Man, he's still flexible. All right. Us old guys, man, stuff breaks when you hit whoops and stuff.
He still bounces off the ground.
Right.
It's true.
So I mean, for him to push as hard as he is right now, kudos for him, and I mean, good for his dad too.
I can just imagine the social media if he were to go race the 450 Ironman and beat Chase. I mean, because then what's your social? Your social, the 100% of the time is we're coming for Jet. We're coming for Jet. Coming for Jet. Because let's face it, at that point, then he's checked the box on stamping everybody else. You come in a one-off race at the end of the year on a 450 and spank the guy that's winning the title. I mean, that would be crazy. Do I think it happens? I give it a 50-50 shot at this point, but it's a heavier 50-50 shot on if he wins the title this weekend here.
He'll win the title.
Why not do it?
Well,
Just do it.
because if he does that, it's a win-win. Okay, if we went and rode, we were just trying stuff out, whatever, we can spin it this way, or we do really good on a 450, yeah, this is great. If we stay in the 250s, and Kenny comes down in the 250 class and beats us on a Suzuki, that's a lose-lose.
Yeah.
So, and they are the kings of the spin and the social there. So how do
Yeah.
you do that?
Yeah.
You avoid it at all costs. So I don't know.
You know, another thing too that we're not playing in on this, but the corporate aspect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Yamaha is got ads going everywhere on Hayden right now.
Yep.
You know, winning races, doing this and everything. Just like everybody used to do in Cycle News and all. They're still pumping everybody in Cycle News and all the magazines, everything like that.
Yep.
But if he goes and rides the 450 and wins on it,
Mm-hmm.
Yamaha's going to pump that. But then at that point, you know, they could skip having him follow up next year with that and just put him to the 450 class, because if he wins, it's going to be, you know, corporate. And I mean, this goes back to Japan. A lot of those execs over there and stuff are going to have their hand in some of the decisions to try to sway, you know.
I'm not sure how much they care to follow up the
And
250 title.
that's what I'm thinking.
Yeah.
Like, I got it, and I'm just going to move on and go get the next one.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't
Could
know
be
either.
wrong.
It's an interesting conversation though. But
he's a ripe talent right now. There's
he is.
no doubt about it.
Yep. And he's exactly what we need, man. He is WWE to the max, which is entertainment.
Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Okay.
Yeah, but I think it's going to be it's all such a good show right now. We've got great riders in the 250 class.
Yep.
And the 450 class.
Yep.
How do the people that are watching these races lose?
You don't.
You don't.
This is a win-win for us. So, let's see here. So, Jalik Swoll goes 6'4" for third overall. Triumph's first podium here.
What do you think of that?
I think that's great. I think I'm still trying to find a Triumph to take for a spin.
Have you seen one yet?
I've seen them. I have not rode one yet.
I have not seen a production one yet.
Yes. So I have seen those. I have seen those. They're interesting. Yeah, like I said, I'm trying to get on a test program with one.
Sure.
So to see what it's like.
I gotta hand it to Jay. Like, good for him, man.
Yep.
He had a great weekend, and he pulled it out.
Yep.
And they have been looking for that. He has had an up and down season.
Mm-hmm.
And, I mean, the guys at Triumph, I've watched them fight. I've watched them try to keep these bikes going, tweak them. I mean, Savagey, he pulled in early.
Mm-hmm.
They had a problem with that. The engineers, the techs were all over that thing.
Yep.
And did he go back out? If he did,
He did not. So there was, what did he say? Because they interviewed him between motos. There was something, and he was like, "Yeah, we determined it wasn't a good idea for me to go back out there." So he just pulled it off.
All right, so maybe there was an issue with the bike. So there was something.
There
there
was an issue. Yes.
But I'm glad that they pulled it.
Yeah.
You know, it's not worth hurting somebody or anything like that, or having a bad show.
No.
But with Jalik out there, I tell you what, he brought that home, and I give those guys, you know.
The thing I like about it is that it shows that this bike is okay, because Jalik's finishes are still right in the range of what Jalik was finishing on a Husky. So it's not a bike situation. That bike's fine. They're going to get better. So good for them.
And I think it's great because they're making a bike right now that, I mean, even though it's just, we're going to put it out there, it's a prototype race bike right now. Okay. Or it could be closer to being the production than we even know.
Well,
we don't know.
Well, technically it's the production bike at this point, because they are produced and homologated.
We'll do the wink, wink.
Yeah, because there's been a lot of things with the amount of production bikes that are here, getting them, the test bikes that these different outlets are supposed to have that they don't. There's a lot of stuff there with it technically is homologated and ready to go, but is it? I don't know. So that's beyond my pay grade. I haven't dove that far into it yet.
Well, I was around when Triumph made their comeback in motorcycles back in the 90s, and I'll tell you, the amount of effort that they put in, nobody anticipated that they would ever become a full-blown manufacturer.
Yeah.
That they would really seal the deal, if you would. And their relentless pursuit of making sure that their bikes would get to the top has been nothing short of an underdog effort. And with what they've got now, I mean, you don't just in this day and age jump into, hey, we're going to make a new motocross bike. Because the engineering and the things that they have, there's so much against them that could fall back on them.
Yep.
You know, I got to give those guys credit. They've done it. They're still pushing it. And to get a podium, congratulations on that to both of them.
Yep. So Marchbanks goes 5-5 for fourth here on the Pro Circuit Cowie. I think that's a good debut. This is kind of where I see him slot in. We'll call it 3rd to 9th place, I guess, here in this 250 class. He is right on the bubble there of trying to make SMX in the 250s. Anybody got any thoughts? I mean, I didn't really see him all day because he wasn't on TV, but...
All right. Yeah, I didn't either.
He rode a pretty good, consistent race. I mean, he was there.
Yeah.
You know, he did it. He put in the effort. He got it. He nailed it. There were a lot of other guys that were, how would we say, factory riders that didn't get there.
Yep.
And a little disappointing, but he pushed. And, yeah, he earned it. There's no way around it. He earned it.
He's in the same spot as Anstey. This is all just bonus time on his new team. Yep. So... and speaking of Anstey, he goes 3-8 for 5th, so cool to see him get a podium. Got a great start that first moto, running up front there. And I think Anstey, you're going to see him get better and better on the Star Yamaha. He was overhyped when he came in for Southwick there. Oh, way overhyped.
Oh, yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, he underdelivered. I'm like, no, he was overhyped. He didn't underdeliver. He did exactly what I thought he was going to do. He's switching brands, middle of the season, limited time. Now he's starting to... I heard the other day that he was riding... just like a base setup that they gave him since he's gotten on the bike, to the point that the other day he realized everybody on that team runs the same handlebars, and he went, would it be okay if we tried something different? And they were like, yeah, sure. So he's been testing handlebars and had a different set of handlebars this week than a different bend than everybody else.
Changed bars, changed tire, and changed gearing.
Okay. Well, like I said, I think this will get better and better here, and I do think he'll be,
no doubt,
he'll be a guy.
Yeah, for sure.
So the amount of different things that they could change on those bikes, he's just started.
Oh yes, 100%. And he's old enough to have the mentality to be like, all right, cool, let's get this figured out. So Pierce Brown goes 7-7 for 6th. Okay. Jordan Smith.
It was a consistent day for him. I mean.
Just Pierce Brown. This is just where he's at. So Jordan Smith goes 12-6 for 7th. It's very Jordan Smith-like. Masterpool goes 9-9 for 8th. He should have been better, but again, good starts, but just couldn't keep it on 2 wheels there. Julian Beaumer goes 8-10 for 9th. Okay. Ryder D goes 10-11 for 10th. All right. Tom Vial goes 22-3 for 11th. Crazy get off there in that first one with the swap.
Oof.
The Supercross hangover is real with this one.
Yeah.
100% that's what it is. He won that Supercross title that he wasn't planning on, and he has just had nothing. Now, it'll be interesting to see how it goes next year, but I'm also getting to the point of like, well, Supercross just ruined his outdoor abilities. Because last year, he won a couple of races, but it wasn't anything super duper spectacular. And now this year, it's been like nothing outdoors, like a big old nothing sandwich for him. So we have to keep an eye on this going forward. But
I'm surprised we could still see guys that are in the 250 class that can pick or choose to do just the outdoors or the Supercross.
Yeah.
I really am. I know at 450, yeah, you see it. But 250, you'd think that they would want them to do that just so that they have the average experience all the way around.
Yeah. So, Joe Schmoda goes 434 for 12th.
Oof.
Crashed.
That looks bad.
It wasn't great. Broken collarbone, I'm hearing.
I have not heard, but yeah, I mean, he was on the cart, already in a sling.
It would have been the way it was holding his wing there, you know.
Yeah, he was in a sling.
Yeah.
He had it slung already.
I'm hearing broken collarbone, so we'll see. Press release should come out sometime in the next couple days.
Prior to that, he had a really good ride. I was impressed.
This is Joe Schmoda's time of year. There's no title pressure. It's the end of the year. Here we are.
Yeah. I don't think that he has had as much success. It doesn't seem like as he did with the Kawasaki.
Joe's heart, I don't believe, is in riding per se. If you listen to his Gypsy Tales podcast, he was pretty open about how he's only going to ride for X amount of years, make X amount of money, and then he's going back to Japan. So he's not Deegan. He's not living for this.
Wow.
He's
How
here doing
motivated are you
it.
at that
Yeah,
point?
that's the question. So
Yeah, it's odd.
it's super weird because most of the time to get to that point, you got to be pretty motivated. So if he's doing this as a kind of like, okay, that's strange.
It is strange. I don't know anything about his background, family.
I heard his dad's in the mafia.
Oh,
in
he's set
Japan.
for life then.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I've heard. That's what I've heard. I don't know for sure, but
Set
that's a
for life.
rumor. So, yeah, we'll see.
Yikes.
Nick Romano goes 13-14 for 13th. Okay. Dax Bennett 15-13 for 14th. Not great, but whatever. Lux Turner 17-16 for 15th. Casey Cochran goes 11 DNF for 16th. I heard he broke something, but I don't remember what now.
Yeah.
In that second moto crash.
Something with his arm too.
Yeah.
I didn't see. Was there a replay of his crash? Because I'm not
I
sure.
don't remember seeing it, but it sucks because he's a sleeper this year. Like, that kid's got some speed. He's been up there in qualifying a couple of times, and, like, he's good.
Yeah.
He's
He
good.
pulled his left arm or his right arm.
I don't remember.
I want to say it was his right.
Yeah.
And then he
walked off. Or,
Yeah, the gal on the broadcast, she did say that she was, like, they zoomed into her real quick at the Alpine Stars, and she was there with his mom, and she said that he was very distraught. I think that might be the word she used, but yeah, or very
Interesting.
emotional. So
interesting.
Yeah, I don't know.
Don't know too many guys that get distraught in motocross and crash.
I mean,
Sounds like my 10-year-old daughter. Tell him we'll just cut it off. It'll be fine.
You can still ride.
Yeah,
You've
you'll
got this
be good.
attachment.
Savachi goes DNF 12 for 17th. Okay. Cody Schock made a comeback. He goes 16-18 for 18th. All right. Talon Hawkins goes 18-17 for 19th. And Dylan Schwartz rounds out your top 20 in the 250 class, going 14-35 for 20th. And he is right on the bubble for making, what's it called? SMX. So outside of that, let's see here, we got anybody? Oh, Hymus, yeah, 32-36 there for
Ouch.
36th, and hopefully he's okay. But I don't know. That was the speed that kid had in qualifying and stuff, though.
He
Unfucking
was
real.
running away in that first race.
The funny thing is with the class that he's in per se for, pro guys coming in, it's
Yeah.
his age group. This is not new. He used to, when Deegan was racing age level up at some of the races or whatever, out crossed over, he used to spank him all over the place.
Yeah.
All
Really?
the time. Yep, in amateurs, is what I've been told. Same thing with Kitchen. He used to beat Kitchen too. So it's not as wild of a thing, I guess. It's just wild because in the pro scene we haven't seen it. So we'll see. There's a ton of skill there. He just has to get healthy and stay healthy.
Well, the interesting thing is both of the Honda riders went down.
Yes.
Okay. Now, when we saw Hymus crash, it looked like that back end started swapping and hit
Yeah.
one of those man for the.
it must have been a square edge in there
Yeah.
because it hopped out of that rut like ridiculously fast, and there was no saving that.
Right, there
not
wasn't
a chance.
That bike was, the back end was rotating around, and there was nothing he could do. And then, well, it went the other way. Shimoda looked like that bike just pulled him right down in there. That was kind of an odd one, and that was kind of a big drop.
Yeah, they were speculating that he maybe landed on or hit one of the stakes, the banner stakes.
Yeah. I don't think so, but
Let's hope
maybe.
not.
Yeah. That has happened before. So, all right. Anything else 250 wise you two want to talk about?
One question.
Yep. Go
What
ahead.
do you guys think about this situation with Savachi and Triumph? I would have thought he would have done a lot better this year than he is. Think he's just doing testing for him, pretty much, or
So
was it kind of a non-effort?
the deal was he was supposed to ride 250 outdoor this year,
Yeah.
and then they would have the 450 done and homologated here, and he would ride 450 Supercross for him next year. 450 production is behind.
Sure.
So that's not going to be a thing. So I don't know what the fuck is happening with him at this point. But the whole deal was help get the 250 program out of the ground here,
Right.
which he was trying to do, and then we'll move to 450s here, and we'll get you on a 450. I don't know. I don't have any clue.
I suspect he's doing some it's all R&D at this point.
Yes.
With the results and things that we've seen, we know Savachi's got speed.
Yeah.
The kid's had skills from way back.
He's like one of the winningest 250 active
Yeah.
250 riders right now. So, yep. Yeah, no, I thought it would be better. I made a bet with Coach Rob thinking it would be better. It's not been great. It's not been great.
I heard Jalik say in an interview that any of the bike issues that they've had have not been really directly related to Triumph parts and pieces.
Interesting.
Third-party stuff, wiring,
Yes.
things like
yeah.
that. Savachi having to pull out was because he bent his radiator a little bit, and it was leaking, apparently. Unsafe to ride. But I don't know. It's still pretty impressive what Jalik did.
They're not bad for first year, and they're doing good in the MXGP class or MXGPs too. Yeah. So, I mean, I call it's a success so far. So.
I've seen some local kids on them, and I made a point to go talk to them about it, and they're like phenomenal. And both the ones I saw came off Yamahas. Okay. And they're like night and day. Absolutely love it. Wouldn't change a thing about it.
Interesting. Super
pretty
interesting.
Fast local kids. Yeah. And B riders.
Well, I gotta love it. You got one guy that's on the podium, and the other guy, even if he DNF'd, it shows that they're making results. Mm-hmm. They're definitely putting their best effort in.
I hope they get the 450 together fast enough for him.
Me too. But it's not here. It's not homologated. They're not going to make it for Supercross. So poor Savachi gets dicked again here.
Yeah, sucks.
Only time will tell.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. So, all right, that's been your 250 race recap brought to you by Flo Racing. Make sure to check them out. Link in the description down below. And that is going to wrap up show 280. So,
right on.
You guys, thanks for being here. Really appreciate it.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks you guys for tuning in. Make sure to check out the members area. Make sure to check out all the sponsors. Links in the description down below. I'll be back with a reaction show from Budds Creek next week. And then we'll have a main show also. So, thanks, everybody. And we will see you next weekend.